Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Philadelphia fans, we're cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Chugga, get on the train as they take care of business last night in San Diego and lead that series 1-0 in the NLCS. Welcome in, everybody. Sports Take on this hump day.
Hump day.
Yes. Derek Gunn. Gunner, no hump day.
Gentlemen, hello.
Are you going to reciprocate our hump day? No. Always.
It's Wednesday.
He's got to always be different. He's always got to be different. I am Rob Ellis. Hi, everybody. See everybody in the chat room. What's up, Jimmy G? What's up, Alexander? What's up, NJ Fishing, Daz, David, Jeremy, PSU Iverson, Carlos, Anthony. What's up, everybody on the stream? Everybody listening. Thanks for hanging out with us. How we doing, boys?
What's going on?
It's a lovely
gentlemen?
day in the neighborhood.
It is a lovely day in the neighborhood.
Yes.
You are correct. Beautiful day outside. The sun is kind of out. It is not as warm as I would like, but nonetheless, it was warm enough in San Diego last night, and it's going to be 89 degrees today at 4:37 for the first pitch. Derek is jealous as we speak. But the Phillies strike first, and it was a big night in Philadelphia sports. You had the Sixers playing. They lost. You had the Flyers down 2-0 to the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Eastern Conference champion Tampa Bay Lightning, and they battle back and win 3-2 and remain undefeated. Just absolutely astonishing what's happening with the Flyers early, and we'll get into that later. But we start with the Phillies, guys. I mean, Wheeler was out of his mind. The big boys are bopping. You got just enough. They had to make it interesting in the ninth. It wasn't to put your feet up and chill. It was, we're going to sweat this thing out. But who cares how you got there? You got there, and they're up 1-0.
That's absolutely what I only expect that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just coming to expect this team knows how to win, man, and that's all I care about. You know, you got Schwarber just almost ripping the leather off the ball the way he bombed that Joker, man. I mean, this team is coming together, man. Let's go, baby! Woo!
That home run. I mean, it was 488 feet.
What?
And the exit, yes. The exit velo, and I don't get too caught up in this, but when this was Titanic. It was 119.7 off the bat, which is the highest number in the history of StatCast. That was destruction of a baseball. That he should have been arrested for like assault and battery on a ball after that, man.
I thought he was going to hit Coronado Island. If you've been to San Diego, you know where Coronado Island is. That thing, I don't even think Doppler radar could keep up with that one.
Right.
That was impressive. No ball has ever been hit that far at Petco Park, and it was the first pitch, and it didn't just jump off the bat; it exploded off the bat. And finally, he came out. Saturday is Rhys Hoskins finally breaking a drought, and all of a sudden, Schwarber comes out of his slump in a big way. I thought one of the most interesting things in after comments about the game was when Wheeler said one of the main reasons why he had that 26-pitch first inning was he felt the butterflies. Mm-hmm. Hey, look, when you have butterflies and you pitch like that, keep the butterflies, man. Keep them floating around in your gullet, dude.
Stay
because
nervous.
Bro, yeah, that's what it is, man. It's here you are, a pro on the biggest stage, starting off the biggest stage right now with this part of the playoffs, and he's saying he's nervous. That's good. I love it. When I stopped being nervous, that's when I knew, hey man, it's almost time for me to hang him up. You know what I'm saying? Right. That meant the love of the game was starting to dwindle a little bit. Not necessarily love, but the understanding in my head that, hey man, I can't do it anymore. Mm-hmm. It started to creep into my head. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that he got nervous is amazing to me. Yes, let's go. He's nervous. That means he's ready to go. You know what I'm saying? You got to be ready to go.
Their starting pitching during this postseason, guys, has been nothing short of remarkable. I mean, between Wheeler and Nola and just what they've gotten from everybody else has been awesome. And you think about this for a minute. They're 6-1 in the postseason, 4-1 on the road.
Yeah.
Like they have been road warriors. And the one loss, was due to errors, like due to just a mishap by, Reese. They could easily have run the table on the road in the playoffs. That is not easy to do, man. Absolutely.
You're absolutely right, man. Go ahead.
No, I think it goes back to what we've heard about how loose this team is. Mm-hmm. There's no tightness, no tension. They love playing with each other. They love playing for each other. It's never the same storyline in terms of who rises to the occasion to deliver a big blow with this team. You look at the way they've won all their playoff games. It's always somebody different, except now that Harper has finally hit his hot spot. He has been the one constant in all this. But, for the most part, everybody else chipping in, it's always somebody. I mean, Castellanos makes an incredible defensive play in St. Louis, as well as his bat's starting to pick up now. Real Muto's still a little up and down. I hope he can get more consistent. Hoskins goes 0 for 4. I mean, that's all right, though. Because you had two things that San Diego didn't have. Schwarber and Harper delivered the big blows. And what was an incredible pitching duel. You guys always hear me talk about, I love a good pitching duel more so than I do a softball type game. That was vintage pitching baseball last night.
You always say that, man. Yes, you always say that. You love a pitching duel, don't you?
I can watch a 1-0 game, 2-1 game, 3-2 game every day of the week if the pitching is quality. Yeah. But in a lot of cases, pitching across Major League Baseball has been like the quarterback situation in the NFL. The product has been watered down. But I will say this, you have more hard throwers in the majors now than you've ever had before. I remember back in the day when you thought a guy throwing 90 miles an hour was like throwing BBs.
Right.
Now 90 miles an hour is pedestrian-like, and you got multitudes of guys coming in throwing sliders, 92, 94, fastballs, 98, 99. It's like these arms are getting stronger. But the problem is they're not as durable in terms of how many innings they can give you nowadays. Everybody's a specialist nowadays. You look at the way the baseball players have gone. I thought Wheeler could have kept going. I mean, what did he end up with? 83 pitches?
83. He easily. I think everybody across the Delaware Valley was saying was saying one more inning, man.
Yeah, exactly.
One more. Yeah,
exactly. These pitchers all have caps on them now, and that's the one aspect I don't like. If a dude's rolling like that, let him go.
Yeah,
let him go, man.
I think they're thinking more so as the long-term effects of it. As far as not long-term as far as his career, but they may need him. Saying they're not just going to sweep this team. So that's it. We might need both of those guys. Like today, he needs his 4th day. He needs to go into his 5th day and be ready to pitch.
Yeah.
So I think that's more so the reason why they took him out. But hey, I'll tell you what, Nola, let's go, baby. It's time to put it on.
Great. You feel great about Nola today. I mean, Nola, listen to this by Nola. He has been unbelievable in the postseason. 12 2/3 innings. He's got a 2-0 record. He's given up one run. Mm-hmm. So he's been awesome. Look, Gunnar, you mentioned last night, Darvish was ridiculous.
Oh, my goodness.
There was two guys who you could tell were on him a little bit. Like Schwarber had the real hard single before he hit the bomb of a home run. And let's face it, Cronenworth makes an insane play to save a run. That ball Harper hit, that grounder was a missile on the
He
ground.
lit, didn't he?
Oh my God. But that, you know what, when after Cronenworth made that play, I'm thinking to myself, like that's going to be the one, the Phillies should have gotten one there, and Darvish is going to settle in now, and he did until Harper hits the opposite field shot. There were two guys who were on him, Schwarber and Harper, and they both delivered big time.
Now this Phillies defense still makes me hold my breath. That throw by Bohm, I mean, if it's not Bohm, the corner play in the infield for the Phillies is really shaky. Correct. You don't know what Hoskins is going to do.
It's always been that way, though.
Jeez, that play last night could have shifted momentum significantly because then they had two men on,
first and second, one out. Been a double Machado coming up.
Machado coming up. And you got. I mean, he make a routine throw to second, ricochets off the fielder's glove. I'm thinking, are you kidding me? Is this how it's going to end?
And the crowd finally woke up at that point.
Yes. I'm thinking, man, I mean, you are what you are now. You're not going to change it now.
Yeah.
You just
props to Alvarado. Goodness. Alvarado dialed in, man.
Whoa.
Under tough circumstances there.
I think a couple of times I didn't think he was going to get out of it, man.
Yeah.
But hey, that's even when I'm watching, the Yankees, you know what I'm saying? Same thing, man. Those pitchers would dig themselves into a deep hole.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And find a way to, it's 3-0. And all of a sudden, bam, 3 strikes in a row. I'm like, this is just vintage great pitching the entire day yesterday. The entire day.
I hope it's another one like that today because Snell's a quality pitcher. We know what Nola does.
Sure.
I hope it's another nail biter like that today.
I think it's going to be. I don't
understand
really
you, Derek, because you get on me all the time because I love a great defensive game in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Not a lot of people like that, but I love because I love to see what teams are trying to counter these offensive coordinators against these defensive. I love that counter. I love watching what teams are trying to do with it. But you say, hey man, you said it. The people don't want to see that. They want to see scoring.
No,
I love it though.
You're right. I've said people want to see scoring because of what the league has done. I've always been defensive first in football.
Right.
And I've said that basically because I think the defense has become basically the forgotten child in the NFL.
No, they're not forgotten.
Basically said
they're not forgotten. They are the bastard child because they want to put them in a disadvantage any way they can.
I don't want to use that word, but that's what I was thinking. But you're right. They have in a lot of ways. And it's frustrating to a defense. They change the strike zone every game. There's every game you watch every game across the NFL on a Sunday or on a weekend. The strike zone is called roughing the passer. Now look at what roughing the passer.
Yep.
They don't know what roughing the passer. A tackle that we've seen 1,000 times is now roughing the passer. That's ridiculous. What do you want a defender to do?
Yeah.
Two-hand touch. Just like you said earlier on. Rob, you said it also that we need to put red jerseys on quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's going that way.
As well.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, you guys look at what Harper's doing, right now, what he's doing in the playoffs. It's really crazy. So he's homered in 3 straight postseasons. Okay. The only other Philly that's ever done that is Gary Matthews, the Sarge. All right. He did that in 83. He's got 4 home runs in the postseason in 7 games. He's 11 for 27. That's a 407 batting average. He's got a 448 on base, a 963 slugging percentage, and a 1.411 OPS. This is like your big money guys, Wheeler, Nola, Schwarber, are all saying, all right, let's go. It's our time now. That's what you got to love. Your big boys are saying, jump on. Here we go.
And Matt, listen, all those guys you just named kind of tiptoed into the playoffs. Because remember, we were talking about we were definitely talking about Harper. Like, man, when is Harper going to get going again? He just seems out of sorts. When is he going to get that back swing the right way? How are we going to win in this playoff system if he doesn't step up? And lo and behold, he steps up.
Yeah.
Don't know how it's going to end, but I tell you what, he's making the most of his first postseason experience.
He's never gone this deep. Derek, he's never played in a postseason game after his birthday. His birthday, I think, was 2 days ago. He turned 30. Yeah. It's never happened. So he is not shrinking in the moment, man. He is, because think about it. He strikes first with that opposite field home run. At that point, you're thinking, I don't know if they're going to get anything off Darvish. Darvish was right. He throws 11 different pitches.
I didn't know there were 11 different pitches that you could throw.
Me too. I'm like, what is that? And they were confused, man. There were so many called strike threes. They were really lost up there. A lot of those guys.
Nobody was swinging. Yeah, you're right.
That's what I'm saying. The bat was. They didn't know what was hitting. And thank God, Schwarber and Harper were seeing him well, man.
I'm still trying to count them in my head. Okay, fastball, changeup, curveball, screwball. Nobody's throwing knuckleballs anymore. Sinker.
He's got like a two-seamer. He's got.
That's 5 pitches. Where do the other 6 come from?
They call him the scientist. The guy like just experiments with stuff in game. It's
my
nuts.
goodness.
Yeah. So and Wheeler, 7 innings, 1 hit. That lineup. That is a potent, especially like the top 6 of that lineup is nasty.
Yeah.
So
That's
one
a high
hit
dollar
those
lineup
guys,
too.
Yeah, man, he was unbelievable.
Except Soto still hasn't found his stroke yet. He's still struggling at the plate. I hope he struggles the rest of the series because when he gets on, I'm telling you, man, he is lights out. When he's on a pitch, this kid, you look at him, he's not the biggest kid in the world, but look at the numbers he puts up, home runs and RBIs.
Yeah.
He is an incredible young player, man. Oh my goodness. And only going to get better.
Yes.
But you're right. When you hold that lineup down, especially the first 6 in San Diego's order down to 1 hit, you've more than earned your keep for that day.
It is amazing when you look at what they've been able to do. And Wheeler, let me just give you Wheeler postseason. So against the Cardinals, 6 1/3, no runs. Against the Braves, 6 innings, 4 hits. They charged him with 3 runs, but if Hoskins makes that play, he may have put a donut up against Atlanta too. And then he goes last night, 7 innings, no runs. So look, he's been awesome, man. I mean, he has just flat out been awesome. It's really incredible. What's been going on here with this team. And, Sir Anthony's hitting his stride at the right time too. As much as I would have gone Wheeler another inning, Sir Anthony comes in the 8th and he's filthy. They couldn't touch him.
Well, he only threw 9 pitches.
Yeah.
9 pitches in the inning. I mean, you kidding? 7 for strikes.
Well, the great thing is too, going into today, there's no bullpen worries whatsoever. Like Alvarado's good to go. Dominguez is good to go. Anybody else you plug in there is good to go because they weren't taxed last night.
Alvarado threw 17 pitches, 10 for strikes.
Yeah.
Gave up 1 walk, but he got the job done. Who's the closer tonight, if need be? That's what I love about this Phillies bullpen. I'm still concerned about the middle relief, and hopefully you can go right from the starters to one of your 3 potential closers and don't have to worry about the middle relief. But when you have that rotation closing and all 3 of those guys are throwing 98 to 100, 101, you're in a very good position, man. I'm telling you.
I just think more than anything else, they're in that. And Barry, you've been in this when you played Steelers, especially. They're in a zone right now. I mean, Harper keeps saying, we're not going to lose. We're not going to let this happen. And I think they're all believing. They are a perfect combination of being loose and confident. That's a dangerous animal, man. When you are loose and confident.
Loose, confident, and then they still have little aces they have in their pocket, that they can come in middle relief, like a Eflin. You can put him in there. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's just. It's crazy how we've taken this bullpen and, he's just maximized what they're doing. Mm-hmm. I mean, I couldn't see this when they started this season off. Did you in any way see we knew we could score on anybody.
Yeah.
But we did not know what we had in pitching. Yeah, we had our top 2. We had Wheeler and Nola. But after that, man, we were holding our breath to start the season. Yeah. Now we have quality guys to come in and they're playing situational ball fantastically. I cannot believe how Thompson has put these guys in position to be this successful.
Yeah, a lot of right buttons being pushed by Thompson. I will say the amazing thing about the way the year has evolved, at one point Alvarado gets sent down because he can't find his control. And he doesn't pout. He goes down there and he works on some things and he comes back and he's been awesome. That's props to him, number one. And then Sir Anthony's coming off Tommy John. He basically missed 2 years of baseball. Yeah. You had no idea what you were going to get from him. And these 2 are your 2 back end guys. Like, you just never know, man. And that's one of the great things about sports. We think before season starts, we know exactly what's going to happen. And then look at the Giants in the NFL. Look at the Flyers off to a 3-0 start.
Absolutely.
You just don't know. It's the ultimate reality TV.
Bro, we wanted to burn hand at the stake at the beginning of the season, man. You know what I'm saying? We wanted blood, man.
Yeah, yes.
And these guys, and I keep telling people, man, please stop sleeping on Syndergaard, man. This is his time of year. This is the time of year.
Yeah, look, Barrett, I'm not going to argue with you. I mean, you were on that hard in that last series, and he gave them exactly what they need. It could set up that way. Like, I'm trying to figure out. Game 3 is in Philly on Friday. They have an off day tomorrow, so I'm trying to figure out exactly what Thompson's going to do once you get past these two guys, and it's to be determined. I would guess it's Suarez Friday, and then Saturday is probably you could either go short rest Wheeler, or you do the same thing. You try to do the Syndergaard 3, and sort of piecemeal at 3. I don't know what he's going to do, honestly.
Right.
Wheeler's an interesting guy. Like, he is pretty honest. He's like, yeah, I was kind of getting a little tired after the 7th. So I didn't have a problem with him lifting. My velocity was down a little bit. Where other guys are like, just give me the ball, man. They're not. And I'm not. It's not a knock on Wheeler. I'm just saying he's an honest guy. He may be the type who says, I don't think I'll be as effective on short notice. Just let me do my thing in game 5. I don't know. It's how it's going to play out. But
so I mean, like you can't see Ranger. I mean, even Falter being the guy.
I think
I don't think it'll be Falter.
I don't think it's going to be. I think they're worried about his inexperience. I think they like that Syndergaard's pitched in the postseason. So I would guess Suarez 3, probably. I think it depends how the series is going. Let me put it that way. Hopefully this isn't the case. Let's say the Phillies lost the next 2, and you're down 2-1 going into game 4. You might see Wheeler on short rest. You might see Nola on short rest. All depends. You're up 2-1, 3-1. He might just roll the same way that he rolled in the Atlanta series. There's a lot of different ways he can go.
The gray area there, and I don't disagree with you in terms of bringing him back on short rest, but if that series is pushed to game 7, then you might have a problem.
Yes.
If you're using those games, and it's all hands on deck, but if you're going to use them on short rest games 3 or 4, your top 2 in a crucial situation, wow, how do you set it up? How do you set it up for game 7? Because you're also shortening their availability for game 7.
I know.
If there's a game 7,
That's the thing. I mean, you're doing like an all-in thing.
Yeah.
Just to try to finish it off and not have to go back to San Diego. The beauty of this too is by stealing this first one, guys, it's a 2-3-2.
Yep.
So you come back to Philly for 3 as opposed to a 2-2-1-1-1.
I hated that. Oh,
that's a huge advantage.
There's no question about it because Phillies have played. Look at the way they've played at home in the playoffs. Regular season they were okay, but look at the way they've ramped up their production in the playoffs, and they come home 1-1. You got to like the possibility of winning 3 straight at home in your own backyard. Although San Diego's a pretty good road team, you got to like the possibilities with this pitching staff the way they're throwing right now, and them coming in your backyard.
Yeah,
you got to like the possibility of not having to go back to San Diego.
It's possible,
Gunner, bro. I'm at the job over at the Wells Fargo in my studio,
right?
And I'll be damned if I didn't hear the Philly crowd, the Philly faithful, all the way across the street on the other side of the parking lot. It was that loud in Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah, the pandemic crew.
Can you imagine a team going into them hostile conditions?
Oh, my goodness.
Bruh, it was it was unbelievably loud, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hear it that far away.
It is. Friday's going to be insanity. I mean, it is going to be off the charts craziness. It's going to be all the what you saw against Atlanta and then some, and all the pent up frustration of 11 years. Just is going to be unleashed.
Fan base is going to get their money's worth of October baseball.
Yeah,
they've waited more than a decade for this, and you can tell by the way they responded to this team over the weekend against the Braves. They have been waiting to just let it all out, to be the center of attention in October baseball. It's been way too long, and they are enjoying every moment of this. And now you have a team that could possibly come back home up 2-0 with 3 at home, your next 3 at home. Absolutely possible.
And here's the thing about today with Snell. He's a really good pitcher. He rarely goes deep. I mean, even by these days standard where guys don't go deep, he's a short, range kind of guy. So, you're going to get into that bullpen for them. Like Snell, I was looking at what he did. Let me put it this way. What he's done in the postseason. He went 3 1/3 against the Mets. He went 5 1/3 against the Dodgers. When he faced the Phillies earlier this year, went 5 2/3. Like rare that he gets out of the 6th. So you should, and that look, San Diego is a good bullpen, but you should you have the starter at least out of there pretty early today because he runs up a pretty high pitch count.
Well, see, that's the difference between our guys.
Yeah.
I mean, our starters, you look at Wheeler give you 6.5.
Yep.
Maybe 7.
Nola.
Nola does the same thing, and they're pretty confident and comfortable with them.
Yes.
I think that's why they lost. That's why Atlanta lost. They weren't confident in their starters to go, farther than what they went.
Yeah, agreed. All right, so here's what we have coming up today. We're talking Eagles next. We're going to dive into who the MVP is and what their identity is. We'll do that next. 1 o'clock, mention the Sixers. They lost to the Celtics last night, 126-117. Some troubling things. It's the first game, so you don't lose your mind. But there's some things I didn't like in this game. And we haven't even laid. By the way, how did we do with our plan of how to watch the games? I got to tell you, I stayed pretty true to what I talked about. I didn't give the Flyers as much attention as I probably could have. I was really locked in on the Phillies and the Sixers.
I actually did it. I you know what? I found myself kind of checking out the Flyers a little more than I thought I would. You know what? The Sixers actually took back seat, and I didn't think, because they were tied, in the third, and it was great. I mean, great basketball being played. It was like 88-88 or something like that. But I still kept getting drawn to how the Flyers were playing defense, man. I was in awe on how they were playing defense, man. So I think that's that kind of threw me for a loop, man. So
we'll talk Flyers.
Yeah, I still watch baseball on the big screen. I had to watch it out on the big screen.
How about you, Derek?
Majority baseball back, just peeking at the 76ers sporadically, but because, like I said, when it comes to playoff baseball, when you have a pitching duo like that, I want to soak all of that in. It's only game 1 of the 76ers, although it got interesting with the Sixers. You can tell it got a little heated.
Well, feisty with Embiid and Smart and some others.
That might be a rivalry cooking up there.
Man. It already is. There's no question about that. Smart said, "You try to break my arm, okay." All right.
And then he tried to trip up Joel, which he denied. So Derek Bodner at 1 o'clock. Looking forward to talking to Derek. We haven't spoken to him in a while. Flyers coming up at 1:30. Eagles as well, as we mentioned. Plenty of Eagles. A lot of NFL. A lot of drama in the NFL, man. A lot going on here with the owners and
shots fired.
Yeah, sniping back and forth. One guy saying, "Don't bleep with me." I mean, this is you can't make this stuff up, man. So
dude,
we'll do that.
Goodell, dude, old enough that he can barely stand up. Talking about gonna call somebody. I mean, you serious, man? You ready? Somebody's ready to strap you to a chair, bro. And you're talking about don't bleep with me.
Well, how about Goodell getting richer?
Oh yeah. We'll talk about how much
with minor opposition.
Yeah, with one little fight back. So we'll do NFC buy and sell as well. We got a lot in store for you, so you don't want to go anywhere. We'll get a quickie here. We'll come right back. We'll talk some Birds. 1 o'clock. We'll talk some Sixers. Don't go anywhere. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis, Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. All right, let's talk about Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group, because you got to know who to trust here with your finances. You know how hard you work, and you want to be set up for later in life or now, quite frankly. Whether it's retirement planning, 401k review, insurance review, if you have a small business and you need help with employee benefits, that's another resource that Jim can help you with. I know I've entrusted him with my IRA, 401k rollovers, and I couldn't be any happier. Give him a call, 610-996-4751, 610-996-4751, or you could email him, Murray, MURRAY.Jim@principal.com. That's Murray.Jim@principal.com.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Welcome to Pond League Hockey, we've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. If you've been injured at work, give Pond Lehocky a call.
It's a fall car fest, and Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, says yes, you can. Jeff says yes, you can choose from over 1,000 vehicles in stock with no wait. Yes, you can still get low prices, leases, and big discounts. Yes, you can still get low interest financing. And Jeff always says yes, you can have a real deal buying experience without the hassle. When the other dealers say no, you can't, Jeff says yes, you can. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown. Nobody treats you better. Jeep Adventure Days.
Over the last 17 years, we've built a reputation of growing award-winning teams across the country. Staffing is not easy, but that's what we do every day, all day. The key to our success is storytelling, asking the right questions to find the right people. Hi, I'm Gary Kane, President of Kane Partners. We want to be your staffing partner.
Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network with you on this Tuesday. It's weird not having an Eagles game, right? You know, we'd be in like looking ahead mode right now to whoever the next opponent is. But of course, the Eagles on a bye week this week after starting the season 6-0. Just a crazy run. Hey, by the way, Derek, a little gun on one with number 55, Brandon Graham, correct? Mute it, my friend.
Yep, Brandon Graham coming up tonight. Gun on
showing
one.
off, man. You showing off, man. Yeah. Wrong again, D Gun.
You wrong again. Yeah.
He's moved on from wrong again, D Gun, to now calling out one of our friends and colleagues, who I won't name right now.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to ask him about that. I'm like, dude, do you watch everything that happens in the media? Or who tells you all this information?
He is on.
I always want to tell him.
I'm telling you, he's amazing, isn't he? He's on everything.
I'm telling you right now, he doesn't watch all of this stuff. He can't. You know, he's got 3 kids on two. I was trying to get him on last night. He goes, D-Gun, you know, on Tuesday nights, I take the kids to swim class. You know, so he's a consummate dad at home. But I'm like, who tells you all this stuff? So I'm going to see if I can get him to fess up in terms of who's talking. So.
So you got to check that out. That's going to be fun. Brandon's always the best, man. That's for sure. All right. So a couple things, you know, when you have the bye week and you're not looking ahead, you kind of look back a little bit at what we've seen so far. And obviously, incredible start, 6-0, only undefeated team in the NFL right now. They've won in a lot of different ways for sure, which we'll get into in a second. But here's the question I have for you, and maybe it's an obvious one. Who would you guys say is the MVP through 6 games?
Hurts.
I mean, is Hurts a lock though? I mean, is it that overwhelming?
I think so.
Listen to what the players are saying. When you hear the players talk, they talk like Jalen Hurts. You know, they have the attitude like Jalen Hurts. They have his demeanor as far as going out there, and the moment is never too big for him. So I'm gonna say Hurts because he's been that consummate, steady flow that this team has needed.
How about you, Gunnar?
There's no question it's Hurts. He has checked off every box that we questioned, not just us, but the media, not just locally and regionally, but nationally. Every box we had questioned about him leading up to the season, he has checked it off through 6 games significantly. He is a significant reason why this team is where it is right now, standing at 6-0. Obviously, everything that he has done this offseason in terms of making himself a better professional quarterback has paid off. His study habits, his ability to read a defense, to audible at the line of scrimmage, to make all the throws that we questioned in the past. He's done everything you could ask for. You have to look beyond just terms of completion percentage, yards. How is he running the offense? What is he doing to help keep the chains moving, to keep his team ahead of the curve instead of behind the curve? And he has done that consistently, as well as anybody in the National Football League this year. Yes, anybody. And I'm talking about Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. You put them all in there. He has been as consistent, if not more consistent, than anybody else under center in the National Football League.
Yeah, I mean, it is amazing, the growth. I mean, we knew the work ethic. To be able to put it all together is what we're seeing here. And they are just so dangerous. And that'll lead into one of the things we're going to do in a second, but they're just so dangerous in so many different ways. All right. So if the consensus is Hurts, if you exclude Hurts, that's where I think it gets really interesting. I would say, I think there's a lot of different ways you could take this. I would probably lean Slay. But I think you can make a case for like 4 guys.
You know what? With me, I would go TJ Edwards. He's the quarterback of that defense.
Yep.
Where he goes, that defense goes. He had a kind of shaky game against Arizona. The defense played shaky. When he's playing well in the middle of that defense is impeccable because he's the hammer that stops the run.
Yep.
He's the hammer that gets, everything going up front as far as making big plays. TJ Edwards is like the unsung hero, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would go TJ Edwards after that.
Great one.
I would lean towards Bradbury. I think Bradbury has been a pleasant surprise in the back end of their defense. He's playing like he did in Carolina right now. His ability to go one-on-one, to break on the ball, to close on the ball, to cause disruption as he did with that deflection that led to a pick. I think Bradbury has been more than the perfect complement to Darius Slay on the opposite side. That was a big hole before they brought him in.
Sure was.
He has been more, and they got him at a bargain basement price. So he's one of many on that team that's playing with that proverbial chip on his shoulder. Not so much the chip of, I'll show you that I can still play, but the chip of, okay, I'm losing a year financially of significant gains. I'm going to make my money back and then some after this year, as well as playing at a Pro Bowl level right now.
Yeah. Great choice. Both great choices for sure. I think what Bradbury makes you like Steven Nelson was but it really shows you how good Bradbury is. Like the upgrade at that position, man, has been enormous. The fact that you can throw he and Slay at teams is unbelievable. You don't have to worry about singling those guys up, even against the best receivers in the NFL. And very few teams have that luxury of being able to do that.
And I would say this about TJ Edwards. I love TJ Edwards because, like I said, I watched his whole career at Wisconsin. And the one thing he did at Wisconsin was make plays. He's not a good cover guy. He's still not a good cover guy. But he's that thumper. He's that thumper you need to be that stopgap. The only thing is, as Barrett says, as TJ Edwards goes, so does that defense. That defense, to me, as a whole, still does an inconsistent job when it comes to defending against the run. I think they give up too much real estate in the running game. It hasn't been to the point where it's hurt them long-term in a game, but when you look at the wealth of talent, the rotation they have in the trenches at D tackle, what they have on the edge, the overall speed at linebacker now, you have I would say a 90% improvement in the linebacking in terms of just individual talent, but yet I still think they give up too much chunks of real estate at too many inopportune times in games. That's not taking away from what they have accomplished. I mean, they're the best takeaway defense in the National Football League. They have 2 corners that can shut down at any given moment. You have one of the better slot corners when he's healthy in Devontae Maddox. C.J. Gardner is still a work in progress because he's playing out of position. But as good as that defense is, I think that's the only evident flaw right now. Well, other than the fact that Jonathan Gannon has to get off of this 4-man rush thing. You got to send extra people. I don't think the 4-man rush is doing the job, in terms of putting consistent pressure on the quarterback.
Barrett, I'll tell you what, we never even mentioned Kobe Dean's name anymore.
Yeah,
and it's not a knock on the kid.
No, it's not.
But it just tells you how well the linebacking crew is playing, because so many people, myself included, were so excited when they drafted this guy. But look, it's good for him. He can learn and do his thing, but we don't even talk about him anymore.
Exactly. And when you talk about, Slay and Bradbury and even Amonte Maddox, they've hid the fact that we have two young safeties.
Yes.
Two very young. One with inexperience at safety, and one guy that was a guy that just made his way up through the ranks, Marcus Epps. You know what I'm saying? Marcus Epps is playing at a high level because he can trust the guys around him. Garner Johnson is a new guy in there, and he's playing at a high level because he can trust the guys around him. So, those, especially Slay and Bradbury, gives you a great opportunity to run what you want to run and how you want to run it in that secondary, because those two are so good.
Yeah. No, there's no question about it. It's nice to have players at multiple positions, man. That's for sure. And a little later, we'll get into some of the concerns with the Eagles. All right. The question I have now is for you guys: what is exactly their identity? If you had to say, it could be either side of the ball, both, whatever. They're this, they're that. What would you say they are?
I would say they're opportunistic.
Okay.
They take advantage of situations that the offense puts them in. When the offense goes out there and plays at a high level and gets that team behind the buck, that's when they turn it up. But when the game is even and on the line, I need to see more then from them being more of a dominant defense. So, they're steady right now. They're steady. You know what I'm saying? They're steady. They're flowing. They're putting you in position to be successful. They're not going to lose the game for you. I'll put it like that. That's what I would say.
How about you, Derek?
Versatile would be the operative word for me. They can change at any given moment and make plays at any given moment in so many different ways on both sides of the football. The defense is the reason why they're number one in takeaways in the NFL. They make the necessary plays. It's not always pretty, but they get the necessary plays when they have to at any given moment. The offense can adjust at any given time. You want to try to take away a pass game, we'll slow you down with the run. You want to try to take away a running game, we'll chew you up with the pass. I think the versatility of this team on both sides of the football is quite evident, more so than any other team in the National Football League right now.
I would say, and it's similar to what you guys said, but I would say they're diverse. They're diverse because they can hurt you a lot of different ways. Everything you guys just said. I look at the way they finished off the last two games with that power running game, where they just said, you know what, we're going to run it down your throat, we're going to score, and we're going to eat clock and make it really difficult for you to try to score and either take the lead or tie the game up in Arizona's case, or with the Dallas game, they made it a 2-possession game. Like I just think to have that in your bag to just be able to go to is so big. But it's not to say that A.J. Brown's not going to kill you in the air. Devontae's not going to kill you in the air. Goddard's not going to kill you in the air. And by the way, on top of everything else, you have a really quality running back. Miles Sanders is really good. So you have a quality running back, two quality wideouts, a stud tight end. When healthy, arguably the best offensive line in the league. Not to mention a defense that takes the ball away better than any team in the NFL. Like, it's no coincidence they're the best team right now, because every other team is more flawed right now than the Eagles.
I think that defensively, I would also add that sometimes I look at them as a chameleon. Sometimes they blend into the scenery. What the heck is the defense? They have this third quarter collapse sometimes where, it's like they're playing out of character, and then all of a sudden they resurface in the fourth quarter again. Right. So I was thinking about the word chameleon. That's not always the case the first two quarters, because I think they play solid across the board. But all of a sudden they just disappear for a moment. Like they blend into, and you're wondering, what the heck is going on here?
Right. No, listen, I agree. They're almost like they become like camouflage for a minute. They're like, what is happening here? Where do they go? Where's this team I saw in the second quarter? Now, and that's part of what we'll discuss with, the things they need to get better at. That's for sure. But I think it's like anything else. You have to fix some things. You got to get better at some things. It's not perfect. They haven't perfected it right now, and they realize that. And I think it's one of the things that Sirianni and the staff are going to hit really hard, during this bye week. That's something they're going to dig in on.
Yeah, and that's what the bye week is about. self-evaluation. What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? How can we make ourselves better? That's what you do during this bye week. Now, I'll say this. They're 6-0, and they're not even close to scratching the surface on how good they could be. The mere fact that they've been able to adjust, go out there and impose their will when they need to. They have an identity, but they're still making that identity and building on that identity. That's why I say they leave, a lot on the table. They leave a lot of money on the table. And that's scary to think of. They're not playing up to their full capability. That's why, what is 112 or 122 points in the second quarter?
Yeah.
But you got like 17 in the first quarter.
In the third.
You got 17 in the third, 18 in the fourth. I mean, they have so much more improvement to come just in those 3 quarters that, they haven't scratched the surface, man.
The positives are. Go ahead, there.
They only had 6 yards of offense. 6 yards of offense in that third quarter.
That's crazy.
Which is like for an explosive team like this, and they had similar issues with Arizona the week before.
Part of that's on the defense too, because the defense isn't getting off the field.
Not off the field, correct.
Yeah.
But my biggest concern is the special teams, because this bye week, I don't think you can do anything to fix the special teams. You're not going to change the coordinator, who I don't think was ready for the job, number one. Number two, you can tell they didn't put a lot of emphasis in terms of improving special teams personnel. You're not going to make wholesale changes to improve that. You're not going to change the coordinator. I think special teams is going to stay what it is at this point. We don't have a legitimate returner right now. Covey is what he is. He's sure-handed in terms of securing the ball. He's not going to wow you with his ability to bring it back. And I think that's the only major concern right now. You always talk about championship teams play 3 phases of the game well. Well, right now you have 2 phases of the game that play it well. That third phase is not just a job; it's an adventure.
Yep. Yeah. No. Well said. Well said, Derek. I don't think there's any question about that. The other thing that's really encouraging, if you look at their major moves in the offseason, every guy is delivering. AJ Brown, right?
Absolutely.
Completely delivering. Kaiser White, completely delivering. Bradbury, completely delivering. Hassan Reddick. I mean, he's living up to what they're doing. Would you like to see the sacks? I don't mean just from him, but from everybody be a little bit more consistent each week. Sure. Where it's not an explosion one week and then nothing one week. But really, I mean, for the most part, all the moves that they've made, Howie again is like checking the boxes. He's having another monster offseason.
No question. 2 in a row for him. I mean, it's like, what is it? It's almost like, how do I want to describe it? It's like Camelot. Everything has been perfect for Howie the last 2 years in terms of personnel. We've never had that luxury of saying that about Howie Roseman in terms of drafting players in previous years. But everything, and I think it goes back to, and it's funny, my wife asked me about this morning. She goes, why do you think Howie has improved so much? And for her to ask me that, she was asking me football questions, and one of them was, why do you think Howie has improved so much? And I think it goes back to when we had him on May, when he basically said in layman's terms, he learned his lesson.
Right.
He learned to listen to people more. He didn't just block people out. When you think about the volume of people they've lost over the last couple of years, scouting department, front office personnel that have moved on to better jobs. But yet people he's bringing in, he's listening to those people more. If you listen to your granddad, you got to listen to everybody, right? You listen to grandpa. Grandpa tell, hey, man,
go to SEC.
Why is everybody else getting SEC players but you?
Get those Saban, get the guys who play for Saban and the guys who play for the Bulldogs.
Georgia.
Exactly.
And all those,
your life will be a little bit easier. You start dipping into the South a little bit down there.
And when the owner whispers in your ear, you think you should be looking at some of those SEC players a little bit more?
Yeah.
When your boss gently whispers in your ear like that,
you better listen.
It's like that old E.F. Hutton commercial.
Yeah.
When Jeffrey Lurie talks, you better listen.
Well, I thought it was fascinating. Go back to Eve. I know we're going back a ways now, but when he got pushed aside for Chip,
right.
One of the things he did that offseason when he was pushed aside, it wasn't just offseason, but he went and observed other organizations in other sports.
Yep.
And he looked at soccer. Like he went all over the place across the globe. just to try to glean and learn a little bit, which I thought was really interesting. It wasn't just football teams or successful GMs or whatever. It was all over the baseball, basketball, whatever. And I think getting a different perspective, you guys know, sometimes when you get for a second step away from something, it looks totally different than when you're in the middle, like you're just like dodging bullets in the middle of things. And I think maybe that helped him a lot to accept what others are saying.
And it also says a lot about Jeffrey Lurie's trust in him.
Yeah.
When you had been as up and down as he had been, you know, in a lot of ways, he's lucky to still be here. You know, the owner allowed a coach who had never coached at the pro level to come in here and basically push him aside.
Right.
Basically, he took the coach's side more so than a guy who had been a longtime employee here, who had been one of his top soldiers for a long time here. And you basically pushed him aside and gave this coach carte blanche, a coach who basically took over a 4-win team, got you to the playoffs, and basically you got caught up in that and said, you know what, I got to listen to Chip more than I got to listen to Howie. You know, and on Howie's part, Howie could have taken that personally and said, you know what, I'm out. I'm going somewhere else where I feel appreciated. But the two stayed, you know, and it's like a marriage made, you know, as a match made in heaven right now in terms of how things have turned around for this organization.
It is. And I don't know if can you guys recall a front office? I mean, like like the chief, the guy who's really in charge, you know, excluding Jeffrey Lurie, but the guy who runs the whole thing being shoved aside, staying with the organization, then being reinstated a year later.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later, they win a Super Bowl. And now they're on this run.
Right.
Is there another?
No, that's not.
Like this?
But we got to look at it from this standpoint. Yes, he got pushed away, put back to the back room, and was relegated to, you know, buying supplies and everything. But still didn't change. He was still making.
I love the buying supplies.
Right. But he was still making over $1 million a year.
Yeah, no, he wasn't. You know, he wasn't. They weren't holding beer fundraisers for him.
Right.
And he was still working the cap.
Yes.
You know, he's one of the best. He learned his lesson well under Joe Banner. He was still working the cap.
Yeah.
Yep.
While his role may have been reduced on the surface, he was still making significant input into the structure of the team. So all of his power was not taken away, but in some, it was embarrassing. It would have had to have been embarrassing for him to have been relegated to the role he was reduced to during that time.
Well, think about it. Like the guy that I know Jeffrey Lurie obviously pushed hard for him too, but Howie wanted him as the coach. The guy who you wanted as a coach then sort of just like, you know, it dethrones you, and you're sort of like, what just happened? And Howie's also a guy who didn't want to just be known as a capologist.
Right.
He wanted to be known as a football man. And his
Right.
football man part of that was sort of stripped away and by the guy that he hired. Like that's a lot to swallow, man. You know, and it's a lot to deal with. And to be able to come back out of it, I do think you make a good point, Derek. The fact that he stuck around and Barrett, you're right too. It's not like he wasn't getting paid, but he certainly could have jumped ship and gone somewhere else just to say, I'm still that guy.
Absolutely.
You know, the money thing, I get a kick out. It's kind of like James Harden. Like people are like, oh my God, James Harden should be for sainthood. James Harden's making like $35 million this year.
Exactly.
We act like
exactly.
You know,
okay,
he can take the max.
$2 million pay cut. That's it.
Yeah. You know.
Oh, he had to make 35 instead of 43
to the
million
point where
dollars.
on a yacht throwing trophies into the sea. Like I think James is okay. If we're really worried about it, but not to get off track, but yeah, I think it is remarkable the run that they're on. The last two drafts, I mean, you know, you end up with Devontae Smith and Landon Dickerson and Gainwell and Milton Williams, and then this year it's sort of a looking ahead a little bit approach with Jordan Davis and Cam Jurgens and Nakobe Dean, but nonetheless, they all look like they already have either established themselves as players or they're going to be players. They don't look like a project by any stretch.
And one of the premier defensive players in college football last year is relegated to special teams. They tell you how much depth they have on this team right now, that guy can't even get on the field. He's playing maybe 15, 20 snaps a game on special teams.
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's not bad when you have that luxury.
No, it's good. So that's, you know, again, these are all the reasons why you add it up. Oh, and I mention that the streak of player of the weeks is done. It didn't happen this week. We thought,
oh man,
C.J. Gardner-Johnson with his 2 interceptions might get it. Nobody. First time all NFL season they don't have somebody on either special teams, defense, or offense that won the Player of the Week. So
they were
pour one out for
bamboozled,
that.
hoodwinked.
Yeah, it's not right.
It's not right, man.
It is not right. Yeah. So look, things are good. They're off. They get Pittsburgh next. Pittsburgh's in a weird spot right now. They did beat the Bucs. Pickett gets hurt. He gets a concussion. He's in concussion protocol. Trubisky comes in. They're still pretty banged up, Pittsburgh. Things are still looking very favorable schedule-wise for the Eagles. And to get an off week now, especially with Lane Johnson banged up, the timing was pretty decent. Would you rather have it maybe like week 10? Yeah, I mean, sure. I think you might. But, to be in the position that they're in, I think is pretty good, to be able to lick your wounds a little bit and just rest up. And, and look, Nick Sirianni is not a guy who's going to be resting on his laurels. They're going to be in there busting the rear end, trying to figure this thing out and get everything a little bit better than it was. All right, so let's get a timeout. We're going to come back. Sixers opened last night. They dropped the game to the Celtics, 126-117. We will talk to Derek Bodner, who does an amazing job covering the team, when we come back. Barrett Brooks, Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk about Pro Action Restoration. In fact, Pro Action Restoration, the crew, Mike and the entire crew, are still down there in Florida helping people out after everything that went down with Hurricane Ian. That's just who they are. That's how they roll. And they've been down there for a long time, and they'll be down there for a while longer as well. But present day here, wherever you're at, if you have a home or a business that experienced pain and the just inconvenience of water, fire, smoke, mold damage, whatever, if you've gone through it, Pro Action is on call 24 hours, 7 days a week to assist you. I've gone through it. I had water damage at my parents' house. Pro Action got over there. They cleaned it up very quickly. The crew was professional, clean. The price was reasonable. On top of that, they are licensed, bonded, fully insured, and serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades. Pro Action will work in conjunction with your insurance company. So it could be any of these: water, fire, smoke, mold damage, mold remediation, whatever you need. They can handle it and they can help you. And if you're not really sure if you have something else going on, just reach out and give them a call. 610-623-3760, 610-623-3760, or online at proactionrestoration.com. That's proactionrestoration.com.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Welcome to Pond Lee Hockey. We've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. If you've been injured at work, give Pond Lee Hockey a call.
It's a fall car fest, and Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, says yes, you can. Jeff says yes, you can choose from over 1,000 vehicles in stock with no wait. Yes, you can still get low prices, leases, and big discounts. Yes, you can still get low interest financing. And Jeff always says yes, you can have a real deal buying experience without the hassle. When the other dealers say no, you can't, Jeff says yes, you can. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown. Nobody treats you better. Jeep Adventure Days.
Over the last 17 years, we've built a reputation of growing award-winning teams across the country. Staffing is not easy, but that's what we do every day, all day. The key to our success is storytelling, asking the right questions to find the right people. Hi, I'm Gary Kane, president of Kane Partners. We want to be your staffing partner.
All right, we're back. Sports Day, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. Crazy night in Philadelphia sports last night. Phillies win game 1 of the NLCS. Flyers win in Tampa after trailing 2-0. The Sixers, the lone team, not holding up their end of the bargain, but 2 out of 3 ain't bad. But you know what? The season is upon us, which is a beautiful thing. And joining us right now, does an amazing job covering the Sixers. Good to see him as always. You can follow him on Twitter at Derek Bodner, of course, for the Daily Six newsletter. And you can email him as well, derek.bodner@daily6.com. Derek, what's going on, man? How are you? Good to see you.
I'm doing great. I am
Derek?
like every other Philadelphia fan living in the area. It is a good time to be a Philly sports fan, not specifically for the team that I cover, but for the rest of the city, it is going great.
I need an honest answer, Derek, okay? I know you are how dialed in you are on everything Sixers. How much dedication? What was the setup last night to sneak a little Phillies in? What was going on?
Oh, there wasn't a little Phillies snuck in. I had both games going at the same time. I have a 3-monitor setup here, so I had both games on a different screen. Was I watching more of the Sixers? Yeah, I would say at least the first 3 quarters, I was watching more of the Sixers. But I was watching my fair share of Phillies too. It's nice that, we have a opportunity to go back and rewatch that Sixers game so I could experience a little more of the Phillies live than I normally would. But yes, I was very dialed in to what the Phillies were doing for sure.
I appreciate the honesty, man. That's a beautiful thing. And the cat is back for another year.
Cat's
yes.
in for the, yep.
Yes.
She'll always be here.
Yes.
I hate to say this, but I think the cat is a camera hog. I'm just throwing it out there.
She is. It's very time of day specific. If you guys would have had me on like 2 hours ago, she would have been asleep. She would have made an appearance, but she is awake now.
She got her makeup done. She's good to go. I mean, there's no problems. All right, Derek. So here's the first question I have for you. And I know not everybody was able to maybe be as locked in because they were on the Phillies, but they know what happened in the game. From your perspective, the Cliff Notes is Harden played really well. I watched a lot of it too, and I went back and watched some of it today too. From an Embiid standpoint, I'm talking 26, 15, and 5. You think, wow, had a really good game. I didn't think he had a really good game. I thought he looked discombobulated, for lack of a better word, and just kind of off. What was your sense of Embiid last night?
Yeah, he not only didn't have a good game, he had a really bad game. And you expect a lot out of Joel Embiid. You expect for him to put out maybe some fires defensively because of his great defense. He sort of added to the fires. His defense was real bad. And his offense his turnovers were a major problem. And the Celtics outscored the Sixers 24-2 in transition. A lot of those came off of Joel Embiid's. I don't even remember what he finished with, 5 or 6 turnovers. All of them were bad. All of them were live ball turnovers. He was poor for most of that game. I think he turned it on a little bit there in the fourth quarter. He started maybe doing a little bit less offensively, letting the game come a little more natural, kicking the ball out sooner when those double teams came. But for the most part, he didn't look prepared. He didn't look in rhythm. And he didn't look like he gave, quite honestly, very good effort either. Mm-hmm. And for an opening night, and look, Boston is probably going to end up being the best defensive team in the league when all is said and done.
Yep.
They're very good in that regard. They've always been real good at sending doubles and confusing Joel Embiid. They're probably the best or second best in the league at doing that. So you understand. But if you're talking about, I wrote the other day, I said, I think they're going to win 56 games, best record in East. Joel Embiid's going to be MVP. I predicted all of that. But I think they're probably maybe the third highest chance odd team of coming out of the East. And that's because a lot of what they do, when you start talking about going up against the top 5 defenses, it gets a lot harder. Mm-hmm. I do think you saw some of that last night.
Hey, Derek, I know it's only the first game of the season, but going in, give me some insight in terms of what you wanted to see overall from the Sixers team in the first game with the new look roster, a slimmed down James Harden. And when you came out, did you see most of the things you wanted to see or less than the things that you wanted to see?
Yeah, well, I think when you talk about real early in the season, you look at a couple things. First of all, coaching decisions. lineup decisions, roster decisions. What does Doc's rotation look like? Which players is he pairing alongside of each other?
Yeah.
So we got a good insight into that. He spoke before the regular season started that he wanted to split up his stars, keep 2 of them on the court as much as possible. For the most part, I think he did that. After the starters started going to the bench, you started seeing, pairing that included Harden and Tobias Harris, along with a couple of role players, and then an Embiid Maxey pairing with a couple of role players. He stuck to that. The other thing, coaching and rotation-wise, is he went with Montrezl Harrell over Paul Reed, even though Paul Reed had been the backup center to start the preseason. So that was certainly something of note, and not something. I think against that matchup specifically, I think maybe a more switchable defender would have helped. But also, you touched on it. How does James Harden look? Yeah. Because he did have a summer to train from that hamstring, whereas the previous season he really did not. And in the preseason, he didn't necessarily look like he had great bursts or different bursts. But you never know in the preseason because, quite frankly, players are playing at half speed.
Yep.
I thought he looked real good physically last night. I thought he was getting off into the paint off the dribble better than he had been after the Sixers acquired him last year, really at any point. So I think that was a very good takeaway. And also it helps when that step back 3 is working and that let him put up a big night. But I think physically he looked better. And that's certainly, if you're talking about a couple of takeaways, it's Embiid and how much he struggled. But on the positive end, Harden coming back and looking like that more regular than not would be huge for the team.
I'll follow up on that with Maxey because it was quiet early, Derek. I know he came on later in the game. He sort of looked out of rhythm a little bit early as well. What was your sense of what was going on with him? Because I know how high the expectation is for everybody for him.
Yeah, and he looked out of rhythm early, and then he had like 7 points in like 3 minutes or late in the third quarter. And for a brief moment where it looked like the Sixers might have a chance to come back in that game, he was driving a lot of that. That got stamped out pretty quickly because the Sixers didn't make a stop in the entire second half, or at least I'll have to verify that, but it didn't seem like watching it live they made a single stop. But he had moments where he looked good. I thought he was passive a little bit too often than not. I do think with him and Tobias Harris, Tobias Harris came out and had 7 or 9 points real early and then got quiet as well. You're always going to have to try to make an effort, especially on nights where James Harden does have so much going on, of getting them more looks. And that's one thing where when Harden goes to the bench and you have Embiid and Maxey, I would love to see them rely on Maxey a little bit more because he got his shots. He got really good looks at the basket. He was really efficient, really effective. You just want more from him. And I think that's something we're going to have to look. Overall, outside of Joel Embiid's turnovers, offense was not the problem last night. It was the other side of the court. It was transition defense. It was half-court defense. When you have nights like that, when James Harden is cooking like that, I think you're going to look up and maybe say, man, I wish Maxey would have gotten a few more touches. But because Harden was so successful, it's hard for me to complain too much about that.
Right. Well, do you think that's a product of coaching and not being aware of what you need to do to get your guys going on the defensive side of the ball and the transition defense, things of that nature? How do they go about fixing this? Is this something the players do, or is this something that this coach has to do? Doc has to make it happen.
It's a great question because last year they just didn't, especially in the first half of the season, they just really didn't have too much personnel to do so. Like when you're starting Tyrese Maxey and Seth Curry in the backcourt, there was only so much they could really do defensively. But one area, and they have much better defensive personnel this year. You didn't really see that last night. I thought, especially DeAnthony Melton didn't quite make the impact that I think they were hoping for. But transition defense is the one where you look at, and that was so bad last year, that was so bad last night. There is a carryover effect there. I'm not entirely sure what they're doing wrong outside of just not being real committed. And first of all, they have to turn the ball over less. Transition defense starts on offense, but there's just not a commitment to getting back that you would have hoped to see last night. And that has to change. And that might be coaching. That might be motivation. That might be the core players they have here. But they have to do a better job because last year they were the worst offensive rebounding team in the league last year, in part because they didn't have a lot of offensive rebounders, but in part because they made a very concerted effort to get their guys back in transition because they know they are that bad defensively in transition that they had to almost sneak out and leak out and abandon the offensive glass because they were so bad. That's been a carryover, and that's something that I think has to change.
Yeah, Derek, to illustrate your point, 24-2 fast break points. I mean, whoa, that is a scary, frightening number. The one thing, and it happened early, and I'm saying to myself, I don't know if he's ever going to learn this lesson. Embiid still tries to put it on the floor and drive the paint in traffic. I'm not talking about when he's got a clear lane. And a couple of those, you referenced it earlier, lead to those breakouts. And that's how you start getting yourself in a hole.
Yeah. No, he played like he was like this was 2017. Right. When he gets into some of his bad habits, I think in the last couple of years, he's done a better job of passing out of double teams, passing before double teams get there. His handle has certainly improved. I do think sometimes I can give him maybe a little more confidence than you would hope, and can lead to some of those turnovers. But he played like he was confused by the double teams, and that led to drives into traffic, post-ups that he probably shouldn't have tried, and that were high-risk spots. And quite frankly, the Sixers have so much offensive firepower right now, and we just referenced it. James Harden played great. Tyrese Maxey wasn't utilized enough. You have so much offensive firepower around him. He doesn't need to force it like he did maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And he's certainly got to do better. He's just got to be better.
Hey, Derek, my next question is kind of jokingly, but a serious tone behind it as well. I alluded to earlier, we see a slimmed down James Harden, great first game of the season, but let's face it, we still have that concern hovering over him about the injury history. If you could put it in perspective, what's the over-under in terms of games before he clutches that hamstring again?
I'm hoping the over-under is 0.5. But look, those lower body injuries, when you get to be 33, 34, like those are no joke. And even with the best intentions, even with if his conditioning and his offseason work was tip-top, there's just a chance that that's going to go haywire. That is for sure a big concern. Big concern.
Flip side, Derek, how good is Boston, man? I mean, I think a lot of us looked at it and said, we don't really know. I mean, the coaching shakeup could do some weird things to guys' heads, but I don't know. They didn't appear that affected to me.
No, they didn't. You know, you start off, they were, again, I think the best defensive team last year. I expect them to be the best defensive team this year. They added a real key half-court contributor, Malcolm Brogdon. He played well. He doesn't have to try to do too much, and he's going to be a real effective option for them. They are if you look at where they were midseason last year compared to now, in terms of their offensive attack, their ball movement, the way that they are able to control a game. I mean, Joel Embiid made a joke halfway through the season last year where they played Boston on one night and then Charlotte the next. And he said, hey, these Hornets were way tougher to guard because all Boston does is try to ISO you all game long. They've grown so much in their offensive attack. They are a very good team. I think they are the best team right now in the Eastern Conference. You know, I do think there is a little bit of uncertainty with the coaching change, but it certainly didn't show up last night. But in terms of roster, I think they are the best. You know, I think the Sixers, the way I phrase it, I think the Sixers have as much theoretical upside as Boston and Milwaukee. But I think Boston and Milwaukee, there's a higher probability they will reach that upside. And I think Boston is outside of the coaching, which again, caveat, I think Boston has the highest chance. I think they're just the safest team. They're the best two-way team out of the group.
Yeah, you look at them.
I agree.
They played well, man. Brown and Tatum, you know, they're gonna give you a good 30 every night.
Yeah,
as far
I
as
gave you 70 last night.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, but when you look at this team, we don't talk much about it. But how can we get, you know, a guy like Tobias Harris more involved with everything? You know, I think Tobias is still, you know, they were talking about him being one of the big three, but now he's almost an afterthought now. You know, I mean, I saw a lot from him last year in the playoffs where he did step it up as far as defensively, a little bit in scoring. You know, what do you see from Tobias Harris this year in his production?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because on the one hand, he's probably the one who's going to sacrifice the most. Tyrese Maxey is just such an up-and-coming scorer, and he's made so much progress, and he's so dangerous with the ball in his hand that you can't really take it out of him too much. We all sort of agree he had the ball too little last night. And James Harden is by far, and it's not even close, but by far your best passer on the team. So you need the ball in his hands, even when he's not maybe scoring a lot. You need him to get the defense in rotation and to really create scoring opportunities. So somebody has to lose touches. I think that's going to be Tobias a lot. You know, he took 6 threes last night, which was good to see. You saw him in the preseason, maybe working on that, where he would run off of pin down screens and get open on the perimeter. For him, it's going to come down to, you know, he had a lot of opportunities last year where he's a little slow on the trigger on a lot of the perimeter shots where he has an open look and maybe his confidence isn't there or he's just not comfortable taking a three that quickly. I think he's been working on that. I think he's shown flashes of that. He got off 6 threes last night. 3 of them went in. I think that's going to help. But he's probably not going to be a 20-point per game scorer this year. I think that's just sort of the way that this team is constructed, unless you miss significant injury time. And knock on wood, I think they certainly hope that doesn't happen.
Derek, I got to ask you about the bench, and I really, I'm with you. You mentioned Melton. I really love that move this offseason. I think House will help them. I think the bench is certainly better. It, you know, wasn't the case last night, but I want to ask you about somebody specifically, in reading some of your stuff and your tweets. I think you and I are on the same page, but I'm curious. What do you make at this point of Matisse Thybulle? Like, what is he at this point?
I mean, he is one of the 5 to 10 best defenders who's pretty much completely unplayable on offense. And this is a league in the NBA where that's tough to navigate. I mean, we saw that with Ben Simmons and the shooting there. And at least Ben Simmons had the passing to provide some value and could push the ball in transition. Matisse Thybulle really gives you nothing on offense, as close to unplayable offensively as you can be for somebody who is otherwise a very useful player. And the Sixers have more depth defensively on the wings than they had in previous years, specifically because of Daniel House and DeAnthony Melton and also PJ Tucker. So they're a little less, I'm going to say this, acknowledging that there was no perimeter defense played last night. They're a little less desperate for Matisse Thybulle's defense than they were last year. But even so, they are susceptible because House is still relatively short, because Melton is still relatively small. And your starting backcourt of Maxey and Harden is a short backcourt.
Mm-hmm.
They could use his side on the perimeter. There is a real concern that some of the teams with bigger wings can punish them defensively in a way that will be problematic in the playoffs. And Matisse Thybulle would help counter that. But I think they're really cognizant of the fact that, look, he would have made Jason Tatum's life more difficult last night, no doubt about it. He would have made Joel Embiid's life more difficult too. And I think there's a balancing act there when they're deeper now. I don't expect him to be out of the rotation all season. I think he'll get a crack at it, both because of injury and also because there will be nights where they need him, and you just want to give him a chance to prove himself. But I think that offense is a very real concern.
Hey, Derek, picking up on what you and Rob were just talking about in terms of the bench. And again, I don't want to make too much of this because it's only the first game of the season, but you look at a Celtics bench that contributed 34 points last night, a Celtics bench that contributed just 11 points. We all agree in unison that this Sixers roster looks better on paper, especially in terms of defensive help. But is it also a bench that can rise up, maybe not just one guy, but several guys that can rise up and give you 20, 25 points off the bench on any given night?
Yeah, I mean, you're certainly not going to have very many nights like that. None of these guys are what you would classify as scorers.
Yes,
except for
that's
George
my point.
Niang.
Yeah.
I think the key, and this is, I think, part of the reason why Doc went with his rotation the way he did. You're going to have 2 stars on the floor pretty much at all time. You're going to be running your offense through either all of Embiid, Maxey, Harden, and Harris in the starting lineup, or 2 of them at any given point. So you're really looking for players to complement them. And I think that's why they went with a lot of players who could both shoot from the perimeter and play acceptable to good defense. And that's what you're looking for. But if you're looking for, like, there's no prime Lou Williams on this team. That's just not anything that they really have. And I think that's okay because, again, last night was really, outside of Embiid's turnovers, that was a defensive problem the other night. It's really that House and Melton and Tucker didn't make the kind of defensive impact, and Embiid was atrocious defensively that you expected.
You bring up Tucker. I was a little disappointed in not only his defense, but he didn't really help a ton on the boards either last night, Derek. He was, I don't know, he knocked down that one corner 3, but he didn't do much really on either end, I think, to impact things.
No, he didn't have a great night. And that was that's a team that's really one of the major reasons why, not them specifically, but that style of play is one of the major reasons why they went out there and got him. Because he can theoretically make Jason Tatum's life more difficult. He can make Jaylen Brown's life more difficult. I think most nights he will. Part of it was the Sixers were playing a real soft drop pick and roll coverage, and Tatum and Brown could just step into a mid-range jumper whenever they wanted. Part of that was because I don't think Joel Embiid was the top of his game, and that makes the guy going through a screen, that makes his life much more difficult. And part of that was Tatum and Brown were just exceptionally on fire. But also, he didn't have a particularly great night either. I think the activity was there. The effectiveness was not. I think he will be good for them. But it is tough because, like I said, they start the game off at a disadvantage defensively because of Maxey and Harden. So I think they're going to have to ask Tucker to do maybe more than he's accustomed to because they don't really have any other stopper in that starting lineup.
Tough for a guy at that age, too.
Right, yeah. It's going to be really tough.
That's a big ask.
Why do you think Embiid came with the first game with this type of I'm not even gonna say enthusiasm about the game. I didn't think that he had that eye of the tiger look, going into the game, even to start off.
Yeah, no, I have no idea. And I wasn't up there in Boston for this one. I didn't travel for this one. I have no idea. It was a really disappointing. I don't know if it is the combination of he just didn't play a whole lot in the preseason. I don't know if it was something went wrong and he got frustrated. I don't know if he just, I don't know. It was borderline inexcusable. It was a really bad performance from him, really bad energy. He didn't look like he was connected to the game all that much. He looked like, quite frankly, he was watching the Phillies game and doing a double screen duty there. He was really disinterested. It was frustrating.
He's excited for that Union playoff run,
Yeah.
Derek. That's what it's in that hype video they put out with Jay
Yep.
Wright.
Oh my goodness.
Let me ask you, last one from me, and this is more of an Eastern Conference thing than specific to the Sixers, but you mentioned a couple of the other teams. Brooklyn's a tough team for me to handicap because there's a million different variables here.
Yep.
You have any idea what they're going to be this year?
None at all. No, and that's why, Vegas continues to put them as one of the premier contenders, pretty much right in lockstep with someone like the Sixers, because I think they just don't know what to make of them either, and they don't want to get burned by them. And public sentiment is still probably pretty strong, which is a little surprising. But no, they are the ultimate wild card in pretty much every respect.
Hey, Derek, do you think the minor skirmish between Joel and Smart last night is setting the tone for what this rivalry this season is going to be?
Yeah, I think no, I mean, I think those two they'll always find a reason to get into something like that. No, I mean, I think this is a rivalry because there's so much at stake because both teams are real legitimate title contenders, and Embiid and Smart are that kind of players where there's a combination of intensity and having a grudge and also being paid actors. So I think they're going to bring out that side of each other every time.
Come on,
I like
Derek.
that.
I love that. I love that.
rivalry.
Paid
Well, they're
actor.
paid and they're acting.
Come on, Derek. I need an old school rivalry like the Bad Boys in Detroit. How the Celtics hated the Knicks and the Lakers hated the Celtics.
You are not getting that
I
now,
need some.
man.
I
Not
need
these
some
days.
old school bad boy bad
Good luck.
blood. Man,
Tatum
come
and
on, man.
Tatum and Embiid spent pretty much all summer working out together. I don't think you're going to get that quick
I
to
wanna
remember
hear
it.
that.
Well, let me ask you this then. I mean, our former guy, Ben Simmons, how you think that whole trio is coming together? What do you think? What are your expectations of that?
I'm sorry,
Go on,
Ben
Joe.
who? The name doesn't ring a bell.
Derek loves talking about Ben Simmons. There is probably nothing.
Did
he
you think you were
enjoys-
going to get off this
he
without us
enjoys
at least
more.
mentioning him?
Yes.
I'm just happy it's not an everyday conversation. Look, I think theoretically, offensively, they can all fit. I think Ben doesn't really want to be a scoring focal point, and I think on that team is one of the few where nobody would ask him to do so. Defensively, I think is where the concern comes in because you really only have two defenders on that entire team. One is Ben Simmons, the other is Nick Claxton. Neither of them can shoot at all. There's no floor spacing. When you have the two of them on the court together, it's going to be real hard to have there's only two defenders they really can turn to try to keep them competitive. And if you can't have both of them on the court at the same time, I don't know how they're going to get any stops. Now, they might win a bunch of games 135 to 125. And I think if they don't implode, they have a chance to do that. But it's just tough for me to see them as a real legitimate title threat because they might be one of the 5 worst defensive teams in the league.
All right, Derek. Thanks, man.
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate you,
We're
man.
looking forward to talking to you during the year, and you can follow him on Twitter at Derek Bodner NBA, and of course the Daily Six is phenomenal, man. You do an awesome job, and we appreciate you hopping on for a couple minutes today.
Thank you, man.
Derek.
Appreciate
My
it.
pleasure. Anytime.
All right, take care. That's Derek Bodner. Yeah, I'll tell you guys. Here's what I don't get, and we touched on it right off the top. Embiid comes out, looks like he's unprepared to play. The coach looks like he has them unprepared to play. I'm sorry. I mean, you've had an entire offseason to gear up and be ready. Boston, with a guy taking over not all that long ago, had his guys ready to play. Tatum was ready to play. Jaylen Brown was ready to play. How does this? Look, if you lost a hard fought battle, 115, 114, all right, you tip your hat. Boston's really good, but there were stretches there where the Sixers were totally lost. I don't get it.
Here's what I'm going to equate it to. You had a Boston team that went to the conference finals a season ago, basically brought itself back intact outside of the embarrassment of the now former head coach misgivings. You added a marginal player who's past his prime in Blake, but can still give you significant contributions, especially on the board. You have a 76ers team that is changing the complexion of his team. Make wholesale changes in a lot of ways in terms of the bench, adding a new starter. And a lot of times when you think about how many preseason games they play, 6.
Yeah,
8?
5. Yeah,
Okay.
5-ish.
So I think, it's like with football, no matter what you do in the preseason, that's not like when the real bullets start flying and people really start scheming for you. So I'm going to give credit to the fact that Boston is a team that knows each other well, and they played like it, compared to a 76ers team that is finding its way in terms of getting a lot of new components adjusted to each other. You have the big four and, the four, returning.
Yeah.
But when you're incorporating all these other guys now, it's going to take a little time for everybody to know their roles night in and night out.
Yeah, I guess. I just, and yeah, you can't get crazy after one game, but there were just some things that you saw that it sort of felt like deja vu moments where it's like, did they really improve? Is this the same team? Are we fooling ourselves? Just thinking it's going to be different this year and they're ultimately a playoff team, but not good enough to get deep into the playoffs. All that kind of reared its ugly head. We'll see. And now going forward here with them and what they have coming up, the loss at Boston last night, 126-17, but then they're home Thursday to Milwaukee. So this doesn't get any easier Thursday night. You get the Greek Freak coming into town on Thursday. It sets up kind of nicely as a sports fan in Philadelphia because you have the Phillies today, Phillies off tomorrow. You got a Sixers game right there at 7:30 tomorrow night. So that should be pretty sweet.
This is exactly what you want, man. This is exactly what you want. I just don't. I just can't see, and I don't understand how you can come in and not want to play going into this season. Perfect basketball. You know what I mean? You want to go in and show everybody, look, we are the head of the pack, and it just goes. It showed us that, you got a rookie coach coming in, and he had his guys going. It looks like they're ahead of the pack right now.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's get a quickie here. We'll do a little combo when we come back. The Flyers, yes, the Flyers are undefeated. They came back against a really good team on the road last night to win 3-2. We'll talk some Flyers, and we'll dip back into the Eagles and maybe some of the things that are concerning us a little bit when it comes to the Birds. At 2 o'clock, we'll talk some NFL, and there's a lot of drama in the NFL for sure among the owners, Tom Brady, etc. We'll get into all of that. We'll swing it back to the Sixers later on in the show. You don't want to go anywhere. He's Derek. He's Barrett. I'm Rob. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk about Flint Tree Services. Yes, Flint Tree Services is an experienced, licensed, and insured Pennsylvania tree services company that will trim or remove any unwanted trees off of your property. They offer cost-effective solutions to any tree problems that you may face. So if you do have any type of tree issues in your yard, on your property, if that's the case with you, they're a quick phone call away. Very simple. They're experts at trimming all types of trees, and they serve southeastern Pennsylvania, South Jersey, and northern Delaware. Flint Tree Services specializes in tree removal, stump grinding, as well as tree pruning. Keep in mind, we're in that time of year now. Hurricanes, some bad storms, winds, those kind of things. It's a great time to have your trees evaluated to make sure that everything is good to go. Go to their Facebook or Instagram page for more information or a sampling of their work. Give Flint Tree Services a call at 610-850-2848, 610-850-2848, or online at flinttreeservices.com. That's flinttreeservices.com.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Welcome to Pond Lehocky. We've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. If you've been injured at work, give Pond Lehocky a call.
It's a fall car fest, and Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, says yes, you can. Jeff says yes, you can choose from over 1,000 vehicles in stock with no wait. Yes, you can still get low prices, leases, and big discounts. Yes, you can still get low interest financing. And Jeff always says yes, you can have a real deal buying experience without the hassle. When the other dealers say no, you can't, Jeff says yes, you can. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown. Nobody treats you better. Jeep Adventure Days.
Over the last 17 years, we've built a reputation of growing award-winning teams across the country. Staffing is not easy, but that's what we do every day, all day. The key to our success is storytelling, asking the right questions to find the right people. Hi, I'm Gary Kane, President of Kane Partners. We want to be your staffing partner.
I think Adam has a good question from the chat section. Adam's exploits for Derek. This one's for Derek Barrett. What are your thoughts when you read that, Derek?
I'm sorry, I can't read English. I'm sorry, I don't read English well. Here's my answer, Adam. Okay, first of all, how do you define chat regulars? And I want you
Adam
to give
is
me
officially
a
a chat regular, by the way.
Okay, he is, but he's saying the chat regulars. Okay, so that means a bunch of people. Adam, I want you to take a survey and tell me how many people in here do you think are chat regulars, and then I can give you my answer. And Adam, take into consideration that the cost of meat has gone through the roof in the last year.
Here we go.
Wait, no, I'm saying, wait. Do you? Okay, first of all, do we all agree the cost of meat has gone through the roof in the last year?
Hell yes.
Okay, all right. So you're right there.
It's
Even
insane.
just hamburgers is
A pound of
It's
hamburger.
ridiculous. Yes.
I like when I go to Costco's or BJ's. I always like to buy it. It's a 2-pack of their and I like the thicker cut bacons. Okay.
Yep.
And it's like cherry wood. It's a cherry wood brand. Can't think of the name brand, but they're incredible. I'm paying double.
Too. They come in
It's like a
slab.
slab. Yeah. It's like I'm paying double just for stinking bacon.
I know.
I'm gonna go out there and find me a hog and start butchering hogs myself.
Easy, Peter. Line
No,
one.
wait. Peter can call all these different butcher shops before they call me, okay? Because I'm sure people on Peter who would protect the animals eat bacon also. Okay.
Hey, according to Xander, JAKIB will provide all meats, so you're off the hook.
Wait.
Go.
Let me see this.
Check the
JAKIB will provide all meats.
Okay.
Xander, that's fine and dandy. But I want that in writing. Verbal promises mean nothing to me, first of all. I want everything you say. I mean, look at Adam, D-Gun. I used my McDonald's app for a $3 bagel sandwich and got a senior coffee for $1.09.
I see Adam's working the system, man.
Adam, you didn't answer my question, though. Oh, you can say, D-Gun, you can safely invite me. I live in Sweden. All right, Christian, you're invited.
See, I just bailed you out there, man. I gave you a lifeline.
Now ask New Jersey fishing maniac, bro. The cost to go fishing these days is ridiculous. I mean,
my goodness.
I mean, you can only have at the most 3 flounders. You got 2 that are like over 18, but if you get any one other, you can have one more over 21. Now,
Right.
just the cost you in fuel alone, diesel fuel alone, to get out there to go fishing an entire day, probably going to cost you every bit of about $150 in fuel. Then it's like it's $10, $10 to $12 a rig. It's $10 to $12 a rig.
And what about
then, what a rig is, the grub, the hook, all that stuff, belong to it with the sinker and stuff. That's going to cost you anywhere to $10 to $12.
True.
So you lose those. You'll probably lose about 10 or 15 of those. So that's another $120, $110. And then you got food you got to eat out there. It becomes to go out. And I can probably ask Captain Tony this. He probably pays about $500 every time he goes out.
Damn.
Fishing.
Okay.
Oh yeah, at least.
Yeah,
hey,
so that's an expensive flounder.
Yeah.
That's if you catch something.
Oh yeah. To answer NJ Fisherman Maniac earlier in the show, he had a question. It was not pertaining to what we were talking about, but I saw him. He was asking about where's Lake Mendota. And to answer your question, it's in Madison, Wisconsin. It's right off the University of Wisconsin campus. Beautiful lake.
Yeah,
People go out, sailing, swimming, boating, but it is also a prime fishing lake in the state of Wisconsin as well. What is this, Chris D? I'm a chat regular. Yeah, Chris D, you are. I'm in on this.
She'll fly
I'm
in
a
from
red
Maui.
meter. Wait,
From
flying
Maui.
from Maui? Chris,
Yes.
if you come in from Maui, you have to bring us some Hawaiian pineapples, mangoes. What else? What else do they have out there? If you come to this bash, you cannot come empty-handed. But of course, all of this is predicated on my wife approving this.
Okay. The
No,
boss,
it's more,
AKA the boss.
It's
Yes.
more on me. It's more on me approving it more than anything else in this
All right,
case.
so we'll keep you posted on that one. All right, good
So
work by Adam.
Adam needs to take a poll. First of all, I want to know how many people consider themselves regulars. And keep in mind, I know who's lying because I know who's been on here since day one when we started back on April 18th. One of the few numbers that I can remember compared to Rob Ellis, who sits and dream up numbers. This is day 147 of our show. And all.
Yeah, show
It's 129.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being wrong there,
my
Rob.
streak is
Okay.
intact still.
Rob, what do you have, like an abacus somewhere? You just keep this stuff on? How do you keep all these numbers?
Yeah,
No, because every time he mentions a number, I notice he looks off to the side.
It's all
He's
useless
got his own
knowledge.
notepad.
It's all stored in the vault, Gunner. Don't
You're right,
question the system.
Are you guys like me, Don? I've talked to you about this before. When it comes to names, I can't remember people's names that saved my life,
Bro. CT, bro. Big Birds. I can't remember anything.
But when it comes to like social security numbers, addresses, phone numbers, even credit card numbers, my wife goes, "How do you remember this stuff?" I don't know. I can remember numbers that I only look at maybe once in a blue moon, but people I worked with for 20 years, I'd still walk around. Hey man, how you doing? Hey, how you doing over there? I
think stuff from when you're younger sticks in your brain more.
Well, how about this?
No, I
I
can
can
remember
remember-
names when I was younger.
All right.
I can just remember places I've been. So I know how to get. See, Derek stopped sending me his address when I come down. So I just remember how to get there. I know exactly how to get there. I just don't know the address.
Yeah, a road.
So I can't give you guys the address, but if you follow me, we can go.
Bear's
How
lying.
about that?
See, Bear's lying because see what I don't give him, my children are more than happy to give him. See, he's lying to you. He didn't remember how to get here. He couldn't
do.
tell you without GPS, you could not find my house.
I do.
So you're
Go by
telling
the
me
mall,
nobody
man.
in my
Go by the mall.
family-
Go down. Go by the mall. Go down.
Yeah.
I
Don't say it on here. I don't want strangers showing up. What are you doing? What are you doing? I don't want the strangers knocking at my door. I'm so and so from the chat room. I don't know who you are.
I was about to tell you straight, man, because I know the exact
No.
field you're talking about. Remember you told me about that field? I know exactly where the field is because I passed the field going to your house.
Yes. Okay, you passed the field, and then you passed DJ Jazzy Jeff's house. You didn't even know that.
How about that?
I actually did.
Yep, you
I
passed
didn't know
DJ Jazzy Jeff's house, which
Big
is about
sports
a quarter
fan, by the
mile.
way.
Yeah, he's a
Jazzy,
huge. We're gonna get him on the show. It's hard to pin him down, but this dude is a huge sports fan.
Cool.
All
right.
and I've had him on other platforms before. So
Okay. All right. Let's hit some flyers. We didn't have. Think about this, guys. I was thinking about this when I put the show together. It's interesting because when we started the show, as you pointed out, Derek, April 18th, 2022, the Flyers were completely cooked at that point. I mean, just couldn't be more done, right? And other than maybe mentioning, Tortorella, being hired and whatnot, we have done very little Flyers talk, rightfully so, because they stink and have stunk.
And when we do, we get cussed out.
Yeah, well, they went in. They've gone into this season with very little expectations, as you would expect. In fact, most people thought they'd be the worst team in the NHL. Now it's 3 games. You don't get nuts, but here's where I'll give them credit. They knocked off a really good team last night. They were down 2-0. They've come back from 2-goal deficits already twice this year in 3 of their games, right? They didn't do that all of last year.
No,
right. They had 0 comebacks from 2-goal deficits. They already have 2 this year, right? So, there are positive signs. Like, Hart looks really good. Yes, Hart's off to a nice start here for them. He played it well again last night. They've only given up 2 goals in each of the 3 games, not total, but per game. They're giving up 2 goals per game so far. So I know, Barrett, you were in on it. Defensively, they're looking a lot better.
You ain't never lied. They are looking a lot better. They are protecting the blue line very, very well. Because they're making a concerted effort. They're trying to Debo people. You know what I'm saying? They're being aggressive, and I like that aspect of it. But when you look at this team, I mean, you look at their starting lineup, it looks pretty good. It really does look pretty good. I mean, imagine when Couturier gets back. But you got Hayes, you got Lawton, Konechny, Provorov. I mean, Carter Hart.
Yep.
If those are guys that are supposed to have been centerpiece guys on this team, and I guess they're finally starting to realize that, all right, they drafted us in here to play, meaning, Konechny and Provorov,
sure.
And Carter Hart. But they're supposed to be the pillars of this team, and they're finally getting it, I guess.
To use a hockey term, Carter Hart has been standing on his head.
Yeah.
That man had 37 saves last night. He's a significant reason why they won that game. When you consider how badly the Flyers were outshot last night, Carter Hart, who was chastised much of last season, has been standing on his head the first 3 games of the season. Now, is that a direct influence of the new coaching staff? I'm going to say so far, yes. Mm-hmm. You have to consider that. I mean, all 3 games, didn't they come from behind and win all 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what you knew you were getting. Now, the question of talent is a whole different story. But what you knew you were getting with Tortorella was they were going to be more disciplined, first and foremost. They were going to be at least make an effort to be more sound defensively. Those are the 2 things that he's the foundation of what he does. And you've gotten that so far. You don't see a lot of dumb stuff from the Flyers. At least you haven't so far. And you're helping your goalie out a lot more than he was helped out the last couple of years, where it was a free-for-all in front of him. So, what's the matter, Derek?
Why did we start this barbecue stuff? This is ridiculous. One guy says, I'm going to bring a bushel of clams. Hey, Chris D., if you're jumping on, we're all planning a potluck barbecue for the chat room regulars. And this guy, Mole, right, because I'm definitely coming to the bar for some barbecue. Oh, my God.
You're going to have every grill that you own going at this rate, man.
If we even came close to doing something like this, first of all, we'd have to do it at a park. Yes. I'm not doing it at my house. Okay. Yes. It would have to be at a park. Secondly, it would have to be in the summer. I'm not doing it
or like late spring, some really nice weather guarantee.
So we got until next spring. Hope the price of meat comes down first. I don't trust Xander talking about JAKIB Media will pay for all the meat.
Might help with the planning. We could at least plan it pretty well, right? That's for sure.
If Barrett helps me grill, I'll consider it. Rob, you're not allowed anywhere near a grill.
I
can you can serve drinks. That's what you serve.
I'll be the bartender.
After what you did with a gas grill, that's still frightening. You did it. We lighter fluid in a gas grill. That's one of my all-time favorites.
No, I poured I poured the briquettes into a gas grill too.
What are you doing,
dude? I'm a disaster, man.
Did you turn the gas on or no?
Yeah.
And you lit it.
At one point, I was like, "What's that smell?" And like my eyebrows, like
Dude, you're lucky you didn't blow up the propane tank.
Trust me on that. I know. Trust me.
Whoa. Let's do it in the winter so people leave early.
Oh my God.
And where are we holding this event, Trish?
It looked like Trish was on board with the Gun Estate. Yeah, the
No,
compound.
she didn't say that. She didn't say that. No, she just said let's do it in the winter.
Yeah, right.
And where are we holding this, Trish?
That's a good question. We'll figure this out.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I'll be bartending and I'll play like cornhole with people. I'll do all that stuff.
Bro, I'm telling you what, man. I am getting away from Voorhees, New Jersey, man. So I am looking for some land.
Where you going?
Down to South Jersey somewhere, man. I got to get out of here, man. I got to get out of here.
Well, what's the difference if you stay in Jersey? You're still paying a high property tax.
No, but see, it's different places in Jersey. You know, like the farther you go up north, the higher it gets.
Yes,
but we're in the area.
Jersey, anything New York suburb is insane.
Yeah, so like even I got 3/4 of an acre. You got a huge yard. I got 3/4 of an acre.
Who?
And my taxes are $20,000 a year or
I only
$19,800.
have a third. Your yard's much bigger than mine. I have a third.
You have way bigger yard than I.
Nope,
I have 3/4.
absolutely not. Your yard looks smaller because you have one of those cement ponds like the Beverly Hillbillies. And you got toys all over your yards, like cars you're building. So your yard looks smaller. But my yard is definitely, what is Chris? It has to be during football season.
Season.
No.
Can't have during football.
Yeah, Chris D. We'll clean up this gun. Right. Wait. And Bob, what did Bob 316 say? I'm not leaving. See, that's the problem.
Yeah. Good luck. You're like, listen, no more food, and we're out of drinks. Time to go.
Let me tell you, Trish would be like, Derek, can you ask some of these people to leave, please?
Yeah.
No, your grandkids be saying, you got to go.
Yeah.
You got to leave because they'll
Cruz?
his grandkids they ain't got a problem with telling you what's on their mind.
Especially Luke. Luke.
That's
why
why
are
when
all
I
these
come
people here?
Yep, I'll come bearing gifts every time I come bearing gifts. I know better.
I will say this though, okay, Barrett. Now Barrett's going to come in and stir up trouble and try to embarrass me in front of people.
All he's
no, that's not happening. The more I think about this, the more I realize I'm not too sure about this. No. See, this is Bear. This would be Bear's prime opportunity to come in here and to get back at me for a multitude of things.
I'll start a bar for Rambo. You guys remember, was that Lean on Me?
Oh God.
The best story ever told.
Stand by me.
Stand by me. Yeah.
Yes.
That was like the greatest story
ever.
Unbelievable.
And what were they? They were either like blueberry pie. Was it?
Oh yeah.
He said he stood back for a bar for Rambo.
Barfarama, yes.
I will say the most people we've had here at our house for a function was 89. I believe it was the 89 people for a function.
Big number.
Here.
That's a big
number. It is a big number. It is a big number. And now that we redid the deck and expanded the deck, we can kick a lot of people outside.
Yeah, good point. Like I said, I've had 350 people over my house.
Damn.
350?
That's like a wedding, man.
Where did you put all these people?
Everybody was in the backyard.
Wow. Well, see, that's because you have 3/4 of an acre.
Yeah, but look, let me tell you how it happened. It was actually for Halloween, and I told my kids, look, 350. Yeah, I told my kids, look, here are 10 invitations that you can use that you give people, and only these are 20 invitations. You can have 20 people here, and they give these 20 invitations out, and only people that have the invitation can come. Mm-hmm. So I gave them that. They give it to 20 people. Well, those 20 people went and ran it off and gave them to everybody. So everybody in school had one of those invitations that they copied at the and 350 kids. People were coming by and they weren't even stopping. They were just kicking their kids out the car. Boom. You know what I'm saying? They weren't even stop to say hello or anything.
Yeah, there was no stop.
Oh man, it was the worst thing ever, bro. Worst thing ever.
David Kerr, no grilled Cheerios.
That's it. Then I'm out. That's it. I won't be there. You guys enjoy. No, so we had not that long. I told you guys, we had the seniors had for my daughter's soccer team. We all the families host, the team come over for pasta. It's a pasta party, right? So probably had 30 to 40 girls somewhere around there. I don't know how many.
Right.
We made enough for like a small army, right? I'm like, we're making all this stuff. I'm like, there's no way these kids are going to eat this much pasta, right? So anyway, the kids are, they eat, they do their thing, and they did a nice job. They're leaving. They were great. They were all thank you and blah 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 blah. So we have tons of leftovers, right? And I'm the type, I have no problem. I love leftovers. Like pasta, especially, can hold up for a while, right?
Yeah.
So this was like, probably a month ago. So last night, I'm out running around. I come back. I'm starved. It's like 6:30. I'm like, I got to eat before the games, whatever. So I'm like, let me go check on that pasta. I get downstairs and it's like 2 science projects, man. I'm like, there is some growth on there that I don't think scientists could figure out exactly what we're doing.
Look, he never went to a service safe class. You're gonna have it for like 5 days.
I said to Maggie, I'm like, you think this is all right? She's like, are you nuts? So I threw it all out. Anyway,
pasta, one of the few foods that Rob allows his family to eat.
That's it. Yeah. But they already ate. They knew. I was eating I was like a scavenger last night. Whatever I could throw in my, throw it on my throat. Anyway.
Hey guys, look here. I see a number of people here talking about I'm a chat regular, and I'm like, hey, I don't remember seeing your name in here every day. Now, see, that's the problem, man. You got people jumping and talking about I'm a chat regular. Nah, I'm sorry. Adam Exploits, you have to pass his chat regular.
He's the bouncer.
critique.
Like he's
the bouncer.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
He's
Understood.
the one. He's been here from day one. Yes, he's the one that has to clarify this, and we have to cap it at 90.
Well, look, I'm gonna tell you this:
90.
there are a lot of guys, there are a lot of people, guys and gals on the chat that started even before this show. They were on with me.
That's true.
With Harry and Aton.
That's very true.
You know what I'm saying?
That is fair.
And they drug their feet through us, and
yeah,
it was a bit different. Put it like it was a bit different with those.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, man.
What does a bit different mean, Barrett? What does that mean?
Bro, they used to be on the chat saying all kind of crazy stuff, man. Yeah. Those all kind of crazy stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? It was wild, bro.
You have a little more stability now. Is that what you're trying to say?
Right. Well, okay. I don't know about stability. You know what I'm saying?
Don't go that far.
Right. But you look at the chat. Look at the chat where Xander said, "You guys are giving me nightmares."
Yeah, I know. Xander, I better help Xander and move on.
Bro, I'm telling you, man. I mean, we had people cuss out the chat. And then they start cussing out each other, going back and forth. Yeah,
God.
Man,
Are you serious?
PTSD.
Bro, yes, one of the.
Well, I will say there's a number of names here. I know we saw when we had the Rob, when we had the
middle
draft,
baby, yep.
the draft show.
Yeah, draft show.
In April, and I've seen a number of these names on Big Seal's show.
Yep.
Matter of fact, I've seen a number of these names as regulars on our pre and post game shows. Promotion Casino with me, Mark Frazetta, Devin Caney.
Yes.
What is these people?
Look, Aton hated the chat. And look at G Meta said, I'll bring the plastic forks.
No, bro, you got to bring something more than plastic forks, bro. I'm sorry. Ain't nobody getting off that cheap, man. Y'all got to bring some serious hardware. I saw somebody talking about bacon wrap barbecue shrimp. Okay, that person can get in. You're going to bring shrimp. The shrimp ain't cheap. You bring in enough shrimp for 90 people, you in. I don't care if this is your first time joining us on the show. You bring bacon wrap shrimp for 90 people, you in.
I'm gonna tell you this. I don't even care about the barbecue, man. I want the sweets, bro. You just don't understand the sweets. When Sis get in that, when Sis get the bacon, she makes some these peanut butter cookies with the chocolate drop in them. Oh yes, my goodness. Oh my goodness, man!
Not only that, man, her ho-ho cake, chocolate cake with the cream filling.
Oh,
then
man,
you got
too.
You have her cheesecakes, and she puts strawberries and blueberries on top of it, and this glaze on it that's unbelievable.
I hurt myself. That's why when I go to that house, I'm like a kid because I eat the desserts first.
Bear came to my granddaughter's birthday party, 1-year-old birthday party in July. I stopped counting after 4 servings of desserts that he had.
The kids were like, "Grandpa, your friend ate all the dessert, and there's none left for us."
He had. You think I'm kidding when I said 4?
Tent. Yeah, everybody's under the tent. They were under the tent eating barbecue and everything like that. I was inside the house.
I
put me a chair.
Yeah,
he was at the kitchen table saying, "Justin, what are you doing in here? We told everybody to stay outside. What are you doing in here?" He had crumbs on his face, man, all in his beard and stuff. I'm like, how many of you had? He goes,
I just pulled the chair up. I just pulled the chair up and sat there. Everybody else outside. Like, what are you doing here?
Like, what are you doing? What are you doing, man?
Barrett's in like a dessert coma.
Right.
I'm telling you, man. I'm not a big cheesecake person. Her cheesecakes are phenomenal, you know. Bro. And then the capper is she makes this lemon pound cake, and sometimes she'll put blueberry
right
in
there. That's what I was eating. The lemon pound cake. I just kept cutting it. And every time I cut it, it seemed like the piece that I cut would disappear, and I'd have to cut another one, and it just kept disappearing. I don't know what happened.
So going back to Xander's comment that he said, y'all giving me nightmares. I think that's Xander's roundabout way of saying this show is like Camelot compared to the show Barrett was on before this show.
I don't know if he's saying that or he's saying you're a nightmare, Derek. I'm not sure.
No, he said y'all. He didn't say you. He said y'all. See,
bro,
there's a difference.
Aton hated the stream, and the stream hated Aton, and they would go back and forth, man, back and forth. It became a ritual, man. And one day he just couldn't take it anymore. He just couldn't take it.
And what happened?
They just started ripping each other.
Are you serious?
As fast as he was ripping them, as fast as the chat line was ripping him, they were going back and forth. Oh, it was amazing.
God.
I sat back there like, talking about a barfarama. I sat there like this. It's a cussorama.
Cussorama. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Hey, Mr. Taz, you're right. I can cook venison burgers now. So that hey, you put venison burgers on my grill, I'm gonna tell you right now. It's like that old commercial Duncan Hines. Remember, said Duncan Hines. They always come back for more.
Yeah,
right.
If I put it on the grill, you'll be back. You'll be back.
I believe it. All right. Here's what we'll do. When we come back, we are going to dip back into football.
Well, we got to take a break, man. We having fun, man. Why you always messing up the fun, Rob?
Keep going. Keep going. We don't. No. Here's the beauty of our show.
Take a commercial break.
We don't have to take a commercial break.
Right.
We don't.
Barry, you see how he tries to take a commercial break just in the middle of our fun? We don't have to be all X's and O's. We're family.
No,
we
we're
argue. We're not a family.
Look, they're starting already.
No, we're not all X's and O's. We are.
Look, they started going on him. He said Aton went off that day.
Yeah.
And then turned around.
Are you serious? It was that bad?
Aton sucked.
Yep, New Jersey fishing maniac. Yes, I've had elk burgers, I've had bison burgers, I've had venison burgers. If they're done right, I've loved them all. Yes, I do because I have a son. My son,
bison are the best. Sometimes sometimes venison can be a little gamey though.
Yes, it depends on how it's prepared. And the same thing with elk, it can be a little gamey. But when it's done right, I mean, all three are really good. But on a consistent basis, I used to get my best bison burgers from.
Where?
Place they've closed up a lot of them, but Fuddruckers used to sell a great bison burger. My son loved
one from there. Yeah,
they still have them like sprinkled around, like but they're not as prominent
as they used to be.
Yeah, not as prominent.
As
they
were.
They used to have White Castles in
why you keep bringing up White Castles?
Jersey. Oh, my fault. They used to have White Castles in Philly, and they don't have them anymore. I'm pissed off. They don't have them.
You know why? Anymore. You know why, Barrett?
Why?
Because they got smart like me. They realized you ain't eating meat. It ain't meat you eating. And I'm assuming White Castle going to call one day and chastise me for ripping this stuff. But you know what? Put a better product on the shelf. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I still, for the life of me, cannot understand how this man who is eating at the finest restaurants in America, who is eating at every high-class entity known to mankind, both in stateside and abroad, and his go-to food is a dang White Castle burger. I don't understand.
It was amazing, bro. It was amazing, man.
That's the beauty of Barrett.
It was amazing.
That's what makes him him.
Rob, go to break. I can't take it anymore.
All right.
I can't.
Let's take a timeout. Hey, when we come back, I'll give you the Phillies lineup. Rob Thompson's changed some things up.
Really?
We'll do that when we get back, and we'll dig into there is some stuff going on in the NFL, man, between the owners. There's some craziness happening, which we will dig into for sure when we get back. All right, we'll do all of that. Don't go anywhere. Barrett, Derek, Rob, we are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Right back.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Welcome to Pond Lehocky. We've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. If you've been injured at work, give Pond Lehocky a call.
It's a fall car fest, and Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, says yes, you can. Jeff says yes, you can choose from over 1,000 vehicles in stock with no wait. Yes, you can still get low prices, leases, and big discounts. Yes, you can still get low interest financing. And Jeff always says yes, you can have a real deal buying experience without the hassle. When the other dealers say no, you can't, Jeff says yes, you can. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown. Nobody treats you better. Jeep Adventure Days.
Over the last 17 years, we've built a reputation of growing award-winning teams across the country. Staffing is not easy, but that's what we do every day, all day. The key to our success is storytelling, asking the right questions to find the right people. Hi, I'm Gary Kane, president of Kane Partners. We want to be your staffing partner.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. What
are you laughing at now, man?
There we go.
Showtime said Bear's going to bring 500 White Castle sliders.
Hey, man.
You ain't
Not
never
out of the
bringing a
question.
White Castle to my house.
It's not
Ain't
out
never.
of the question that
Ain't
happens.
never
No
bring it to my house.
question. That'll be amazing. You guys don't know. It'd be amazing, man.
Could you
All right.
imagine though? Could you imagine if we could pull this off, just to meet some of these people? That would be hilarious.
That'd be cool, man.
And get a group picture. That would be phenomenal
It
if
would
somehow somebody could pull that off.
It would be.
Oh,
Well, we'll see. We'll see. We get out of football season. We'll see what we can do. All right. So lineup for the Phillies today. It's a 4:37 start. The Phillies will be facing Blake Snell, the lefty. That's the key part of this thing, a left-hander. So here's the lineup for the Phillies today. Up top, nothing real different. Schwarber leads off in left. Hoskins at first base hits second. Real Muto is third, catching. Harper DHing. Castellanos is in right field. He will hit fifth. Bohm is sixth. Segura 7. Here's where the changeups start happening, guys. Vierling's playing center for Marsh because he's a righty versus a lefty.
Yep.
And Edmundo Sosa gets the start at shortstop for Bryson Stott. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Why is that?
Snell's brutal on lefties, man. Let me
He's
tell you
tough
this.
on
He's
lefties.
tough on left-handed hitters.
And both Marsh and Stott hit left-handed. Obviously, you're not doing that with Schwarber or
Right,
Harper
right,
or any
right.
of those guys. But so, it's not shocking. I mean, Thompson's used Vierling in a lot of different roles throughout the course of the year. I was a little bit. Stott is generally, I think, hangs in there in a pretty tough way. I haven't looked at his splits yet against lefties, but you certainly bring in a big-time defender with Edmundo Sosa at shortstop. That's for sure. It's not that bad. I mean, it's
No. And the thing is, when you talk about the changes at the bottom of the lineup, I don't think there's much drop off when you consider those names you mentioned have been an integral part to the success of this team.
agreed. Yeah.
I don't think this is a significant. Matter of fact, those two guys may be your storyline when this game is all said and done today. You don't know.
Yeah.
Offensively, I understand defense, but offensively, they are.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, defensively, Sosa is an upgrade from Stott, and Marsh is probably a slightly better center fielder, but it's close. Vierling's not a bad center fielder at all.
He's
I mean,
done
they're-
well.
Vierling's
was
a
doing
better
well before
hitter,
they brought in him.
Yeah.
He was doing well before they brought him in.
I think Veerling's a better hitter.
Veerling's had a nice year for them. He has in that utility role. That's for sure. All right, so that's a Philly. We'll get back to the Phillies in the matchup a little bit. The really cool thing, I'm going to stay on it for a minute. Think about this for a minute. You're Aaron Nola's parents, Aaron and Austin Nola's parents. Yeah. Today they're facing each other.
Yep.
Like yesterday it was one thing when Austin's catching for the Padres, but Aaron's not pitching. What do you do, man? What do you do when those two are when Austin's at the plate against Aaron?
Oh, that's easy.
You got to have a jersey and cut it right down the middle of each team and sew it back together.
That's what I said. Yes, that's right. Number one. Number two, that's a tough one. If one son strikes out the other son, or the one son gets a defining base hit against the other son.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
I'm saying, how do you react? Like, no matter what happens.
Like this?
You can't react. When Austin's up, you can't react. Right?
You can't.
You can't. One way or the other, you can't react.
At least mommy and daddy know they don't have to work again for the rest of their lives if they don't want to.
Well, remember the Watt brothers?
Oh,
yeah.
All of them played. Like they played when the Steelers played Houston, and JJ was still there, and then the other two brothers were playing for Pittsburgh.
Right.
So that was crazy.
You still have all three in the league, I believe.
Yeah,
is the fullback still hanging around?
I know he was in Pittsburgh. I don't think he's in Pittsburgh anymore. I think
he's on the West Coast, isn't he?
I forget where he is. All I know is they had all three kids on this field at the same on the same field. And they were playing at the same time. But they were on the same field, and it was crazy. That's got to be a crazy feeling for your parents to see all three of your kids.
I think Derek's still with the Steelers.
Is he?
Is he?
Yeah. I'm looking at.
Let's see.
Way. Yeah, he's still with the Steelers.
Okay.
TJ with Houston. Derek. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
By the way, how come Derek was the outlier with the initial thing? You got JJ.
Right.
Oh no,
he's the only one on offense too.
Yeah,
I feel like an outcast.
He's the black sheep, man. Like, what did
exactly.
he do?
Did he go to Wisconsin?
He did.
He did. Yeah,
all
his
three
middle
of them went to
initials
Wisconsin.
J. Why doesn't he go by DJ?
Exactly.
Right.
JJ, TJ, DJ.
That's a little confusing when you get mad. Now think about it. When you have each one of you have at least two kids. When you get mad, think about how you forget kids' names all of a sudden. You start calling one the other name and stuff like that. It's the same thing with grandkids. What's your name? Sit down. What's your name again?
Right.
Sit down.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right. So the NFL guys, this is like straight out of like TMZ stuff. So apparently at the owners' meetings, which took place yesterday, Jerry Jones and Robert Cook, both guys in their 80s, mind you, okay, got into a heated exchange at one point. Reportedly, this is coming from TMZ actually. Jones said to Kraft, "Don't bleep with me."
Wow.
So this is on the heels. Yeah, there's a new contract at stake for Roger Goodell, the commissioner. There was a 31-1 in favor vote. I think we know who the one was who didn't want it. Jerry. He just basically he doesn't like some of the clauses that are tied. Yeah, the incentives that are tied to his contract, and he wants him making less money. Which who can blame him?
Well, he wants the contract to be more production laden in terms of, okay, if you generate this much income additionally, then you get this money. If you show us that you can expand viewership, things like that. That's what Jerry wants. He wants more of a business sound contract, more so than giving this guy a contract based on past performance. But I tell you what's interesting behind that, Rob, and I don't know if you were going to bring it up, and I apologize if I step on something.
No, go ahead.
But I found when I read the article, I also found it interesting that when Goodell signed that contract in 2017, he basically told the owners, "It's probably going to be my last contract." Right. And that he recently told a few owners also, "I think you guys need to start having a conversation." So it's not etched in stone that whatever they offer, he's going to accept.
Good point.
You see what I'm saying? But how do you turn away from $128 million you just made over the last 2 years? Number one, you're going to make an increase this year. Number two, you have access to a helicopter at your disposal. You have lifetime health benefits already. What else would you want to do in life? You're the commissioner of the most prominent sports entity on the planet.
Yeah,
Let's do what you
I was going to
want.
ask you the same thing, and you know, I don't know how you turn that kind of money down. Honestly, I don't know how you do it.
You
And
don't.
you know,
Unless you
he's
get something
60.
better.
He's 63 right
yeah,
now.
yep.
Okay, not like he's, you know, if he was 73, you're like, okay, I want to enjoy, you know, my life and all that. I mean, he still could re-up for 2-3 more years and make insane money, you know, to set up generations of
Oh my goodness! Can you imagine if Kraft and Jones squared off both in the 80s? I'm going to be taking. I'll be taking out. All right, who's the first one that's going to have to stop and need an oxygen tent? Who's the first one?
See, Jerry would fight dirtier than Kraft would.
Oh,
he would. Oh no,
Jerry
no
would
question.
fight, hit you,
Yep,
you know,
below
for
the belt.
jewels. Yeah, it
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
matter.
you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Jerry
I think
will
Jerry.
go find somebody. Jerry's gonna go find somebody to fight for him. That's what
That's
Jerry's
true
gonna
too.
do.
Jerry too busy doing other things. He ain't got
Jerry
time
could
to-
snap his fingers and have like 3
Right.
guys, you know, right there
Yeah.
to take care of
He
that.
got his son jumping into it, Steven
Yeah.
jumping into the fight. You know,
Yeah.
it'd be like the Hatfields and the McCoys, man.
So that was pretty fun. But Goodell's salary allegedly in the 20 and 21 season was 128 million combined.
Woo!
Was he making? He was making like what?
Like
Upwards of
64.
50 mil a year.
Insane, even
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
Well, over those last 2 years, that's 64 million a year.
yeah, man.
And he and his family have lifetime
Health
Healthcare
benefits,
benefits.
yeah, and
But we
players are
can't.
fighting, yeah.
Yeah, and then we can.
Yep.
That's utterly ridiculous.
It
Woo!
is.
That's why I think the players should band together and shut the league down until you get health lifetime benefits.
I know that's right.
Take a
Just shut it
stand.
down. Yep.
I'm saying that because I ain't there right now.
Oh, G Meta, you in? Because Carne Asada is one of my favorites, and I have. G Meta, you in? You know you like one of the top 5 on the list getting in. G mentioned Carne Asada. That's it. And I tell you what, I can do some serious Carne Asada. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get off track, but when G Meta put up Carne Asada, I said that's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Gunner, food is just, it's over.
That's it.
It's a trip,
That's it.
man. He's
Carne,
done.
oh my goodness, Rob, I'm gonna tell you something, brother. When you've lived on the Mexican foods that I've lived on over my last 4 decades in life, when you go to restaurants, even premier restaurants, it don't taste the same.
Yeah.
Like
It
Taco
just
Bell.
does not taste. What?
Like Taco
Oh,
Bell.
man.
I'll
Kilo
back,
taco.
I'll backhand you across this computer. Straight
Oh
up backhand you across
Bro,
the
you say
computer.
what you want to say, man. Taco Bell makes some. The Doritos taco is good. Say what you want to say. That Doritos taco is amazing,
There, I have no respect for your food palate. You understand,
bro.
this, right?
I'm just saying, man. It tastes good. I like the shell. The shell is good.
You ate chicken at Ditka's. You love White Castles, and now you're talking about Taco Bell tacos compared to real, authentic Mexican food. That's an insult to Mexican food,
No, I just like the Dorito taco taste.
dude.
Dorito
Do you get your stomach pumped at least once a year?
Bro, I'm just saying, man. You know you like those Doritos. The Doritos.
No,
Dorito tacos.
no, I ain't gonna sit there and tell that lie. No.
Well, man, I wish I had fish tacos, but you were supposed to show me to go to the house.
Oh, we ain't talking about that.
Road.
We're not talking about that because you've been lying
He
about
turned
that
off
for
the
years.
road. Instead of him letting me go to his house, he turned off the road.
All right, let's put this to rest once and for all because Rob's tired of hearing this story. And I let Barrett run with this story for years because it does sound funny. And you know what? And I kicked myself because had I thought of something like what Barrett has accused me of, I probably would have done it in terms of let him go past me and then slip off an exit. But Barrett told us after this fishing excursion we were on the charter, he had to get home. Okay, so when Barrett passed me, yes. So when Barrett passed me, he blew his horn. I blew my horn.
I don't
didn't
remember
think
that.
anything of it.
I blew the horn because you got out the highway before I could get there.
You told me you had to get home. That's
I
what
don't
you
remember
told me.
telling you that.
And then when he finds out, we went home and made fresh striper bass fish tacos. That's when the lie started. You ain't even tell me, D-Gun. Just like he lied and said, I told him to go home for my party at the house. See, people think Barrett's is, Barrett's like this big huggable teddy bear. He wouldn't harm a fly.
Bro, tell the truth, man. If you'd have told me that you were making fish tacos, do you really believe I'd have went home?
Yes, because you said you had to go home.
What I had to go home for, D-Gun?
Dude, I don't know. Maybe you just got tired of hanging out with us. I don't know.
That was definitely not the case, D-Gun.
It's a story I'm
You
telling.
wrong for that. You wrong for that, D-Gun.
You wrong,
for
D-Gun.
that.
All right.
Man.
So Daniel Snyder, our friend, has written a letter to all the other owners, basically denying everything in the ESPN article. I didn't hire lawyers to dig up dirt on you. I'm not going to do that. I'm not that kind of guy. Don't believe all
He's
these
feeling the pressure.
all these malicious lies that are being told about me. Blah blah blah.
Let me tell you
That's
something,
Daniel
Rob.
Snyder. Yeah.
The fact that it has slipped out there, that Daniel Jones, whether it's true or not, the fact that it slipped out there, that Daniel Jones allegedly said,
Snyder.
I'm taking
There's
everybody
Snyder.
down with
Snyder.
me.
Yeah, not Jones.
Snyder.
I mean, Snyder. I'm sorry, Daniel
Yeah.
Snyder. I'm taking down everybody with me.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm an owner, I'm thinking long and hard before I hit that button and say, I don't want Daniel Snyder as an owner. I tell you right now, because we don't know, but we know there's a whole lot of shady stuff that goes on behind the NFL closed doors.
Bro,
And
he
I don't
knows
want
where
my name.
bodies are buried.
Look, I don't want my name brought up in no dossier. No,
I hear
it's not
you,
happening. Daniel, welcome back to the family. But Jim
Yeah.
Irsay went off the deep end.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
my
Jim Irsay basically publicly, and Goodell wasn't happy about this. I saw he was at the podium getting peppered about this, but Irsay was basically like, "Yeah, you know what? It's time. It's time for him to go." Like publicly, and Irsay's a guy with a very checkered past.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes.
So he's either like, "Hey, everybody knows what I've done. Like, throw it out there. Whatever you got, dude, go for it." He doesn't care or didn't really think this out too much.
Now, and if I wanted the other owners, I'm sitting in the audience going like this. Oh my goodness, please make this man stop talking. Please. Somebody take him down from the podium, please.
Yep. So
You don't want to
the
stir that hornet's
investigation
nest.
hasn't come through yet that the NFL's doing. And you know how the NFL is. We'll find out the findings of this in like 2087. I think somewhere around there. But yeah. So that's
Wow.
interesting. All right. So a couple other odds and ends. Deshaun Jackson employed again. Baltimore Ravens have signed him. Do you guys wonder? I haven't paid enough attention to their punt return game. If they'll use him even at his age in the punt return game, that is going to be interesting to me.
How old is D Jackson?
He's got to be
35.
35.
He's
It's gotta be
35.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. That man been sitting out of football since when? Since last January.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't care who you're working out with on your own. You're not in football shape. And I saw where Baltimore's going to possibly activate him for this
Yep.
week.
Yeah,
You
he's
know
on
what
the
I'm
practice
thinking?
squad
I mean,
right now.
all is just go run some
hamstring,
fly patterns, right?
hamstring. I'm thinking hamstring right out the gate.
I don't think he can hold up. I mean, we asked the question on the show last week, whatever. I just don't think he can hold up.
Now Baltimore's desperate because their two leading pass catchers. Where did I put this stat? Devin Duvernay has 18
Texas
catches.
kid. Yep.
And Rashard Bateman has 11 catches. And Bateman has missed the last two games straight with a sprained left foot. And oh, by the way, Lamar Jackson has completed 21% of his passes that have traveled 20 yards or more.
Wow.
So he has nobody on the outside. So bring Deshaun in. Let him. He's gonna get hurt the first game. He'll collect his money for the rest of the season. It'll be a nice story for a week or two.
I ain't mad at him.
I ain't mad at him.
I ain't mad.
He's still one. I tell you, he's still one of the fastest players in the game.
No question about that. He's never ran as fast as he could run. Put it like that.
No.
Yeah.
He's never ran as fast as he could run.
Yeah,
Which
but
is crazy when you think about it. He is that fast. This guy, man.
No, that's the part you never question. I mean,
Right.
his just straight line speed, ridiculous. I just don't know if the hammies and the groins and all that at his age can just hold it up.
But that shows you how desperate Baltimore is. If you're going to bring him now, if you're going to bring him and sign him, put him on the practice squad, and before the week's over, you're going to activate him for a game that quick. That's how desperate they are right now.
If he can get the plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you
run.
simplify it this week and just say, dude, you get a couple deep patterns in here and let's find out.
Let's go. Run the go.
Right. He can track a ball, man. He can do that. That's for sure.
Best in the business of tracking the ball.
Yeah. Russell Wilson. So he's day to day. He's lobbying to try and play this week with the hamstring. This has turned into a colossal disaster. They're last in the NFL in offense. Zero, like they are dead last. I mean, it's a mess right now.
Were they averaging like 16 points a game, something like that?
Yeah, I'll give you they're bad. It's almost like across the board bad, everywhere. And he's had a really tough year, and the expectation, obviously, with what you gave up and what you're paying him was very high. And now he's dealing with that. He had the shoulder worked on last week, prior to last week's game in Los Angeles. But yeah, they are currently. Denver is dead last at 15.2 points per game. They are averaging less points per game than the Bears, the Steelers, the Commanders, the Panthers, the Colts, and the Texans.
With that firepower.
Yeah.
With that firepower.
Ridiculous.
That is unbelievable.
No question.
That's sad. That's an embarrassment.
Jerry Jeudy.
Yes.
KJ
Hamlin.
KJ Hamlin.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Talent.
There's
And
no
the
way.
running back. Now Melvin Gordon wants out.
Right.
You know, they lost Javonte Williams for the season. You had everything you want right there. It was like Christmas in Denver every day on paper. You know how embarrassing that is now for the ownership and the management
guys,
of the
that coach
Broncos
is in
front office?
trouble already. He's in trouble already, man. I'm telling you. We'll see how it goes. All right, you alerted me to this, or us to this, Derek, in our group text.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, this kind of thing pisses me off. It really does. Like, I don't usually get like mad about things, but Tom Brady made a comparison to being deployed in the military. Like,
Bad move.
Don't-
He is
don't
getting roasted for that.
don't do that, man. Don't do that. Don't do that.
He's getting roasted. Social media has roasted him for that.
As they
comment.
should. As they should.
Come on, man.
How do you compare playing football and your life, even if your life is upside down right now with what possibly is going on at home? How do you even let that come out of your mouth?
You don't.
Making that kind of comparison when you consider when a military person is deployed, and especially if they're deployed overseas into a war, you don't know if they're coming home or not.
Yep.
You know, correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, the war you play in football, I mean, you get to go home whether you're injured or not. You're going home.
Yeah.
You don't know if your family member's coming home, man. I mean, that's
And
forever.
I can only think back to the people who were drafted, and we haven't had a draft in a while, but like who are still around, and they're saying, at least you have a choice, man. Nobody forced you to sign up for this.
Right.
You know,
that's right.
I was over in some jungle and it wasn't my choice. So please don't compare yourself to military folks.
And I don't even think
he doesn't give two F's about that either.
Yeah.
No, and I don't think military people make $1,000 a month, do they?
No, they don't.
Okay,
No.
so they don't make $1,000 a month. They're forced to live on a barracks when they're not deployed. This man has made what $300-500 million in his career.
It's just
And
it's a
still
really
making
ignorant
more?
comment. It just I
know.
don't know how else to say it. You know, ignorant. Just
I think
ignorant.
he's lost it. His team is falling by the wayside. Cameron Braid is now out with a neck injury. They just lost Logan Ryan with a foot. His team's disintegrating right before his eyes. He's got the home issues. His team's 3-3. You know, what was the comment he made after Sunday? You know, it's a bad day when you're dropping more F-bombs than touchdowns. You know,
That was pretty good, though.
That was a good.
it
line.
was. It was.
But you know, here's the thing. I think we all know, like he's had buyer's remorse. He wishes he didn't make the comeback, but you committed to it. And look, he's great, so he may figure this out at some point. But he's off. Like the whole thing's out of sorts, off kilter, all of it.
Yeah,
right
man.
now.
Yeah, man. If this is not his last year, wow.
Yeah.
Bro,
Anyway.
you think he cares about what we talking about? He just went to down in South America somewhere and just bought $120 million yacht. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, look, I mean, no. Do I think he cares? No, but it doesn't mean we won't call him on the carpet.
Rip him for it.
stupidity.
Exactly.
You know,
My goodness.
unbelievable. All right, let's do a little NFC buy and sell. Guys.
Wait. Before you go,
Oh, yeah,
I have
sorry.
to give out my John Wayne True Grit Award of the Week.
Oh,
Every week I'm going to try to find one. And starting this week, I thought of it this morning.
I
said,
it.
you remember the movie True Grit?
Yeah, John Wayne.
Remember that
of
movie?
course.
Okay, so my John Wayne True Grit Award goes to Chargers kicker Dustin Hopkins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good
Now
one.
he messed up his hamstring to the point he's now out 2 to 4 weeks. It happened in the second quarter. After he hurt his hamstring, he said he heard something pop. That man kicked 4 field goals. Think about that.
Falling as he's kicking.
Right, now,
Falling
every
as
time.
he's kicking.
That was you're right, Derek. I mean, not often. I don't think a place
kickers.
kicker or a punter's
Yeah.
going to get this award.
Yep.
That dude showed a lot of guts in that game. He did.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
I've had a hamstring pop, not to the point where I needed surgery, but to the point it affected me over a week, man. I'm talking about the back of my leg was black and blue, man. I'm telling, like somebody whipped my behind, man. I mean, that thing hurts.
Yes.
And he went out there swinging that leg, kicking.
Right.
Yeah.
I never ran fast enough to really rip it all the way off, but I have
Unless you
ripped
go
it
on
a
the White
little
Castle.
bit. Yeah, but I mean, I have ripped it enough that like you said, it was black and blue back there, and it was hard. I mean, it's hard to even go up steps, let
telling you,
alone go
man.
through with that kicking motion.
Yeah.
Whew.
That was crazy. So he's out 2 weeks now.
2 to
Well,
4 weeks.
Wow. Well, they're gonna
I
be
know.
called. They're gonna be knocking on knocking on our door, knocking on the Eagles' door, trying to get our guy out the practice squad.
Yeah, where's Dicker the kicker?
Yeah, that's a really good point, though. I mean, I don't think Dicker's going to be long to be an Eagle. That's for sure.
No, not at all.
All right, little buy and sell. So are you in or are you out on these teams after 6 weeks? We're doing the NFC today. We did the AFC yesterday, and we'll start with the Giants. Giants are off to a 5-1 start. They've done it with Saquon Barkley, with a defense that's played really well, especially their defensive front, and with a quarterback who's not making a ton of mistakes, and with really good coaching from Brian Dable and his staff. So now the question isn't, hey, what have you seen through 6 games? Obviously, they've been good, but you're buying it longer term. Barrett Brooks.
No, I'm not buying it long term. I think that Brian Dable has done a magnificent job coaching these guys up and putting them in this smoke and mirrors type of offense to score points. They'll go as far as Saquon Barkley takes them. I mean, they just don't have enough. Kenny Golladay and Kadarius Toney. What are they? They have neither one of them played enough to even know what they are.
I don't think they're either one are good. And
because Kenny Golladay, he was the #1 free agent the year before last, and hasn't done anything. Kadarius Toney was the first-round pick last year in 21, done nothing. So he's out there throwing to guys like James. I mean, Darius Slayton's all right. They had a great chemistry together. Yep. But David Seals, what?
Yep. Yeah. Well, and he lost Sterling Shepard. He lost him.
Yep.
Gone. He's been gone for a while. So
yeah.
It's I think defensively they've really turned the corner. Like I think Thibodeau is what the doctor ordered. He's everything they said he could be coming. Even though he may not like football, he's balling right now.
Yeah, he is.
I love how defensively they just swarm you. They play aggressive, physical football on the defensive side of the ball. And it's the best thing they could have got was Don Martindale as their D coordinator.
Great move. Yeah, great move. All right, Derek, you buying?
Definitely buying. This team is only averaging 317 yards a game of offense, scoring 21 points a game on offense, but their defense is only giving up less than 19 points a game. Brian Daboll has done an incredible job. Wink Martindale was the perfect choice, the defensive coordinator. Finally, the Giants, the laughing stock in the NFL, made the right necessary moves to change the front office personnel to coordinate this and orchestrate a team you can be proud of. And here's the biggie. Daniel Jones. His completion percentage is the best of his career, 67% completion percentage. Whatever they are doing, it is working. They believe in themselves. I don't think they are a threat to be in the NFC Championship game, but they're good enough to get in the playoffs. So, yes, I'm definitely buying on the Giants.
That's where I'm buying him at the level of I think they're a playoff team, especially considering what the rest of the NFC has looked like. And some of the teams that we thought were going to be good aren't good, et cetera. So I will buy
Smoke and mirrors, guys.
No, Barrett, I'll buy it in that they're going to hang around enough. Like I don't think ultimately you can keep winning with this being a one-man band. But I think their defense is better than we thought, and that'll win them some games. So I think they'll be 9-18.
Well, so you're saying they're the Philadelphia Eagles from last year. That's what you're saying they are.
Yes, that's a good analogy.
Good comp.
Yes,
good comp. Yeah, I think it's fair. All right, let's go Packers. Derek, I'll start with you on this one.
Of course you will.
Well. Look, it's been a disappointing start. They've lost 2 straight. They lost in London to the aforementioned Giants. They lose last week as well to the Jets.
Yep.
So they've dropped 2 in a row. The young kids still haven't come around. But more puzzling is their defense, which was supposed to be unbelievable and has not been. Where are you at with them? Buy or sell?
The defense is an illusion. I told you guys they can't stop the run, and they showed that the last 2 games. Even though the defense is ranked number 5 in the league, they're giving up 135 yards a game. Now, as if they don't have enough pass catchers, Randall Cobb is now out because of an ankle injury. Aaron Rodgers is already chirping about we need to simplify things. Matt LaFleur is like, what are you talking about?
What? Yeah, he's like, huh?
We only Aaron's talking about running less motion, and Matt LaFleur we didn't run that many motion plays, Aaron. What are you talking about? Their offense is putrid right now. The offensive lineman can't block for them. Now they're talking about shifting offensive linemen again. Don't fall off your seats, but right now I'm selling on Green Bay.
Wow.
I'm selling.
I'm selling Green Bay. I am selling Green Bay because number 1, Randall Cobb is out now. He's hurt, so he's out right now, and he was the only thing they had going as far as consistency for Aaron Rodgers. Christian Watson, he's also out, rookie from this year. Romeo Dobbs still given an opportunity, and Lazard still give him an opportunity. You know, Aaron Jones is still one of the better backs in the league, so the offense will be and get back on track. Defensively, I'm so surprised, man, because they can, they just can't stop the run. I thought they'd be able to with Quay Walker, the second round draft, first round from Georgia.
First round, yep.
And then Devontae Wyatt, first round from Georgia. Two guys that I really thought could mix it up and change what it is, but it's even hard for Devontae Wyatt to get on the field, let alone stop the run. So this defense has a lot to go with. So I'm not buying them either.
I'm not buying in the sense that I just feel like even though Rodgers signed the big deal and all that, I feel like he's half checked out.
Yep.
I feel like he's like, man, I don't know if I have the patience for these young guys. They took away my best weapon, my go-to guy. I'll collect a check for a year, but I got mine. I think he's sort of in that mindset.
Yeah, I'm on my way to some island somewhere.
Yeah,
so
I'll be chilling with whoever my next fiance is or whatever's going on with him at this point. Is he still? It was some actress was the last one, right? Is there somebody else now?
Man, I couldn't tell you, bro. I can't
keep up. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I just know I like the peyote. He like that peyote. He like to smoke. So.
Ayahuasca.
Yes.
You notice how easily that word just rolls off Rob's tongue. I wonder if Rob, if you indulged.
That's my pre-show ritual.
I would have to be to put up with us, right?
What do you think's going on right now? Yeah.
Right.
All right.
How do you say that word again? What? What is it?
Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca. It's an herb from the earth in the Amazon region.
Yeah, you go to the Joshua Desert. And I don't know what you do. All right. Vikings. I'm starting again with you on this one, Gunner, because your guy, our friend of the show, your brother, Marvin Harrison. Marvin Gunn is a Vikings fan. Just to get on your nerves, I'm convinced. They've been a quiet under the radar 5-1.
Right.
Buying or selling?
Let's see. They've won 4 games by 4, 3, 7, and 8 points. The bottom line is they found a way to win. The Eagles embarrassed them. Eagles embarrassed them on national TV. If either one of you tell my brother this, I'll kill you. Right now, I'm buying the Vikings. Oh, that hurt to say that. Oh my goodness. Oh, that hurt.
Okay, you're buying. How about you,
I'm buying the Vikings because they found a way to win. They changed up their offense. I mean, they didn't change their offense. They stood steadfast on what they were trying to do, and it's starting to work for them now. Defensively, I'm not a real fan of Ed. Ed Donatell is basically a Ben type of coach, and they're starting to generate enough pressure up front. With Hunter, and they're making some things happen. So yes, I'm buying because number one, it's a weak NFC, and number two, they're starting to gel together. So yeah, I'm buying.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm buying. Yeah, I'm buying. I think that they think whatever was going on for that little stretch with Jefferson, I don't know, but he's back in a big way. Thielen is slowly better. They still have Dalvin Cook. They still have pieces on that defensive side. I think the new coach looks like he kind of knows what he's doing. He righted the ship after the Eagles game.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm buying them. I'm certainly buying. I think they win that division too. I think they come out of that because I don't think Green Bay's gonna find themselves.
No. Hey Rob, you see what Chris D said? Good point, D Gun. Why does Rob E know so much about that stuff? Meaning that herb of the earth. And I said, Chris, you living out in Hawaii. Now that's like the premier state for growing that stuff.
Some of that
Come on, Chris.
Express.
Tell us what you know, Chris.
Yeah, man. Get some of that Pineapple Express. Chris is that. Yeah.
Man, what you know about Pineapple Express, dude?
It's a great movie.
Oh, okay.
Great
all
movie.
right.
I'm just a botanist. I'm into plant life. I don't know
That's all.
what people want from me. Let's go the Bucks. We talked about Brady. They're still in a division that's
sell.
All right, you're selling.
I'll go.
Okay.
I'm selling.
I
just don't believe. I don't believe they're tied into what Brady's talking about. When Brady can't get and right that ship, I can't see us. I can't see them really being okay. They still got a whole bunch of injuries. Akeem Hicks is still out.
Yeah.
Safety Mike Edwards is out. And just like you just said, Gunner, Cameron Brake. He's You know, he's gone now. So they got 2 rookies that are going to be playing for him right now because Kyle Rudolph is just a shell of himself right now. So with 2 rookies playing, you got a rookie left guard. The center's getting blown up, so there's a lot of pressure on Brady up the middle. You know he hates, heat up the middle. He doesn't like that, which is throwing everything off. And Fournette's not running up to his full capabilities. It's just a train wreck there. A train wreck.
Yeah,
so I'm selling. Sell.
Brady talking about comparing himself to the military.
Right.
Brady's gone. Logan Ryan's gone. The offensive line has been decimated by injuries. They let the Atlanta Falcons Atlanta Falcons should have beat them.
Yep.
And then they turn around and they're not the same team right now. Yet sell quickly.
I'm gonna buy because it's Brady and because I can't completely write him off. I don't feel great about it. It's a slight lean of a buy. It's not anything I feel real. I'm not slamming a table. I just think maybe they right the ship and they're in a division that might allow them to get in the playoffs where otherwise they might not get in the playoffs. And then maybe his experience kicks in. That's all. It's not a love or like by any stretch. Falcons. What's back?
Mr. Taz, expect a package of spices next Tuesday, D-Gun. Hey, man, I'll be sending nothing to my house, man. No, I don't want no, because if it's a package, what I'm thinking, the feds will be right behind them. Nope, don't be sending packages to my house. Matter of fact, don't even send it to my P.O. box office. I don't want nothing to do with it. I'm sorry, Rob. I got off track again.
It's all right. Falcons. Barrett, you take first crack at them.
Man, that's just tough, man, because they're playing better, man.
They're not bad. They're not as bad as we thought.
You know, their weapons are looking good, and I like their running back. Tyler Algier.
Yeah, he's good.
BYU. I did a game, and so I had to watch film on him from last year, and he looked good then. He's looking even better when I watch film in the NFL. They got a potent offense, man. Drake London's playing at a high level. They got, a top 5 tight end, Kyle Pitts, who's starting to work well. And Marcus Mariota, man, he's running that offense pretty good. He's using his speed. He's running around a little bit, They're doing good. I'm just looking at that defense, man. They just lost, a couple players, man, especially Mikael Walker, their linebacker. He's out right now. They got rookies that are going to be replacing all these guys that are hurt. Mm-hmm. But, at this point, I'm good with them.
Okay. How about you, Gunnar?
I'm buying on the Falcons. They got jobbed against Tampa Bay. They beat San Francisco by 2 touchdowns. I'm like, Marcus Mariota's quarterbacking, and they just put up 28 points on San Francisco.
You're letting the kid Ritter learn too for a year, which is nice if you can.
Now,
buy him that time.
I don't think San Francisco's a playoff team, but the bottom line is they're 3-3. They're 3-3 now. They're playing much better. I'm buying on the Falcons.
I said I think Arthur Smith quietly doing a real nice job there with them.
Yeah.
For a team with no expectations. Let's go to the Rams. This has been a mess. Stafford's turning the ball over a ton. He's not getting protected. They can't establish a run game. They'll try to establish a run game. It's the Cup show without, Allen Robinson's been a bust. I don't know what's happening there. The defensive side of the ball, there's some talent, but how about you, Derek? You buy?
I can't sell them fast enough. This team is averaging 310 yards a game. When was the last time you heard of a Rams offense? And they're averaging 17 points a game and 70.5 yards rushing a game.
They can't find his mojo, man. He can't find it.
And now Cam Akers wants out. And coaches come out and say they're actively looking for another location for the running back.
Yeah.
There's dissension in the Rams ranks coming off a Super Bowl win. You don't see that often.
No.
But you're right. Matthew Stafford is not the same quarterback. The offensive line's a mess. I can't sell this team quick enough.
All right, Barrett.
Sell, man, sell. They're getting. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
They are.
That's Sean McVay on the line.
Right.
Like, what are you doing? You selling me, Barrett? Come on, man.
Man, look at man. They can't do anything, man. Anything right with that offensive line. It sucks, man. And even though their defense is playing okay, they're just on the field way, way too long, man. I mean, way too long because they can't sustain anything on the offensive side of the ball. And it's not like they're not healthy. They're healthy. It's just their offensive line sucks.
Yeah, they're not good.
And I think they just lost their center. So I mean, I look at their lineup. Their offensive line is so bad since they haven't replaced their left tackle yet. With a guy that's worth his salt.
Right.
They're getting heating. They're heating up Matthew Stafford's too much. He can't do anything. As soon as he gets the ball, there's somebody in his face.
Yep.
I just really think that, the offense just can't, go out there and play good enough to give the defense a break. So because of that, they're just, they're just out there way too long. So I'm selling the Rams.
I'm selling too. I'm out. I don't like anything I'm seeing about them. This
Right.
feels like classic, getting to the Super Bowl, winning a Super Bowl, unable to respond the next year. Hey, let me throw this stat to you guys just real quick. Melvin Gordon is going to start this week for the Broncos.
You mean the same Melvin Gordon who won it out?
And the same guy who got 3 carries last week. Hackett is a disaster. Hackett got heat for not playing him. Now he's going to start him. Hackett's way over his skis, man. This guy's way over his skis.
He'll be looking for a coordinator job real quick. Now, he's a good offensive coordinator, but in terms of running a team,
man.
Yeah, you're right. You said it earlier, Rob, that he might not last this season. I'm starting to agree with you. He may not last the season.
Yeah, that's from our
they will not admit.
Wow.
Yeah, they will not admit that they messed up. They messed up with hiring him, and they won't admit that they messed up going to get Russell Wilson. So they got to figure out a way in which they could, say, all right, I'm gonna blame it on him, and that's why we're going away from this head coach. We're going a different direction because it can't be Russell. It can't be Russell. It's not Russell's fault.
What a mess. All right, we'll rip through these last ones quick. Seahawks.
Buying.
Okay.
Geno Smith buying.
You guys laughed. You guys laughed 2 straight weeks about me picking Seattle in upsets, and what happened?
Right. I mean, he has 2 rookie left tackles. I mean, 2 rookie tackles that are playing well for him. So yes, I'm buying.
The weird thing about them is when it came to them, I was like, I had them in sell. Then I thought, wait a minute, I'm the one that's been talking them up.
Right.
Geno Smith is completing 73% of his passes. That's crazy.
Wow, that is crazy.
The defense, where was it? I saw the defense. I'm like, what? Defense is ranked 30th, giving up 411 yards a game, and they're 3-3.
Yeah, they're shooting out. Every game's a shootout. Yeah,
they're a fun team to watch, and I'm going to buy. I'm buying Seattle.
Yeah,
my fault. Go ahead.
No, it's all right. The one thing he was left with, I mean, Geno, they inherited, I should say, as a starter, was 2 really good wide receivers. Metcalf and Lockett. But
and both have over 400 yards receiving.
And you know what? They lost Rashad Penny.
Yep.
And then the kid Walker has stepped in last week and did a really nice job for them.
From Michigan State.
Yeah. Tough. He's tough. Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
Good running back. I'm buying. Let's go Cardinals here quickly. Barrett, in or out.
And by the way, you're not gonna get by saying Lockett's from Kansas State, but I want to let you know that.
Oh, geez.
Good work out of you, man.
Attaboy.
Selling.
Yes, I can sell them quick enough, Derek.
Today I'm selling, but they've added Robbie Anderson. DeAndre Hopkins is coming back.
Yep.
3 weeks from now, I might be buying. 3 weeks from now, I might be buying again. But right now, the way that team is right now, I'm selling it. Can't sell it.
Brown is out though.
Yeah, Hollywood got hurt.
Yeah, it's true.
Pugh is out. Starting center Hudson is out.
Yeah, but you had Robbie Anderson. That's a big help.
James Conner is still out. They're going in Eno Benjamin.
Yes.
Oh, Eno's not a bad running back though.
Oh, he's not at all. Yeah. So it's got too many people hurt for me, so I'm selling.
True.
Yeah. All right. Final one. Saints. Yeah. Derek.
Goodbye. Gone. Can't get rid of them quick enough. I don't know what their problem is. I don't get it. So I'm selling. I'm out.
Okay. Barrett.
Gone. Sold. Sayonara. Peace. Get out of here.
Arrivederci.
Yeah, I just need them gone, man. I just need that pick to stay where it is. I think it's like the 5th pick or the 6th pick.
Yeah, it's a real good pick. It's a real good pick.
Yeah, so I want the pick. So yeah, they're gone. Jarvis Landry's out. Michael Thomas is out still. Yeah, they're gone.
Deuces. I'm done. Yep. I'm out. All right. So let's hit it. We'll look at the pitching matchups again with the Phillies and the Padres, game 2 of the NLCS today. We'll dive into birthdays and movies and all that good stuff when we get back. Don't go anywhere. Barrett, Derek, Rob, Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Right back.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Welcome to Pond Lee Hockey. We've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. If you've been injured at work, give Pond Lee Hockey a call.
It's a fall car fest, and Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, says yes, you can. Jeff says yes, you can choose from over 1,000 vehicles in stock with no wait. Yes, you can still get low prices, leases, and big discounts. Yes, you can still get low interest financing. And Jeff always says yes, you can have a real deal buying experience without the hassle. When the other dealers say no, you can't, Jeff says yes, you can. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown. Nobody treats you better. Jeep Adventure Days.
Over the last 17 years, we've built a reputation of growing award-winning teams across the country. Staffing is not easy, but that's what we do every day, all day. The key to our success is storytelling, asking the right questions to find the right people. Hi, I'm Gary Kane, president of Kane Partners. We want to be your staffing partner.
Segment of the show. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. He's Derek Gunn. He's Barrett Brooks. I'm Rob Ellis. All right, so
hey, did you guys know about this?
What's that?
The Eagles Dallas game, before the game started, our friend Big Dom, head of security for the Eagles, had to escort a fan. Somehow a fan ran down on the field. He had to escort.
It was at the introductions running out of the tunnel.
You got 45 security guards in the building, and the head of the team security, who has to watch 53 players and coaches on the sideline, he corrals the guy and escorts him off the field.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
And then I just found out Big Dom just had surgery, man. Had 2 plates, 12 screws. He had 3 vertebrae in his neck.
Ooh.
He just had surgery, man. So
What?
Yeah. Said he'll be ready. What I'm told, he'll be ready. Said it usually takes 4 to 6 months. He said he'd be good to go, from what I'm being told, in about a week.
A week? How many screws in his neck, and he's going to be ready in a week?
2 plates and 12 screws.
Ooh, he's a tough dude. Nobody's questioning that, man. Yeah, Dom's the guy you see. If you see the coaching cutaways on the sideline, going back to Andy, through Doug, through Chip, through all these guys. He's a big dude. Usually has just a black windbreaker on, Eagles hat, and
150 degrees. He's wearing blackout
and shorts, and never has long sleeves on. He's a big dude. So yeah, all right, all the best, Dom. Feel better, man. That's for sure. All right. Mention the pitching matchup. You got Blake Snell and Aaron Nola. What we haven't talked about is this is the first time that Snell and Bryce Harper are going to face each other since June 25th, when Snell drilled him with that pitch that broke his thumb. Now,
right.
These two claim, hey, everything's cool. There's no issue. Stuff happens. But I got to imagine if you're Bryce Harper, it would be that much sweeter if you can deliver off of this guy. There's no doubt.
Well, they're supposed to be boys. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
I mean, he has to be a little pissed off still. He took 2 months off his off his
season. I mean, and he was Barrett. He was swinging the bat at an MVP level before.
Yeah, he probably won it this year.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
you know, I'll give Bryce credit because initially when it happened, you know, he was jaw-jacking with Snell. And then as he's walking towards the dugout, he said, hey, look, man, my bad. You know, I know you didn't do it on purpose. So I got to give Bryce credit for that.
Yeah.
You know, they've had a long history together. And, you know, the emotions got the best of him for a fraction of a second. Then once he realized what happened, it's like, look, dude, I know you didn't try to buzz me on purpose. So it happens. Unfortunately,
He was
sometimes
very
you just
mature,
gotta
right?
wait.
But I still think there's a little
He was
something.
trying
in
to
him.
bunt, wasn't he?
No, he wasn't. bunting.
No.
It came up and in. Initially, you couldn't, like, it happened so fast, you thought that he could hit in the face again. Like, it was just, there was a lot going on there. And it was his, you know, here it caught his thumb, his left thumb. And that's where it got him. But, you know, we'll see. It's going to be, just keep that little matchup in mind when those two face each other today. All right, let's do some birthdays here. Start with this one. And he was in the show I told you guys it was really good on, I think it was FX or Hulu. I think it was actually on both. The Old Man with Jeff Bridges. John Lithgow turned 77 today. Very good actor. Yeah, everything that guy's in, he's strong.
Third Rock from the Sun was funny.
Yeah, he's been in a ton of stuff, that guy.
Oh, yeah.
John Favreau, the director and actor, is 56 years old. He's done a boatload of those Marvel movies, right? What he's done, Iron Man, I think, and maybe all of them, right? I think all the Iron Man franchise he's done.
Yep.
Chris
Spider-Man also.
Spider-Man, yeah, he did Spider-Man too.
He's a Spider-Man.
Chris Kattan, you might not remember him, but he was in Saturday Night Live. Like, he was at the Monkey Boy and all the other like goofy. He did a lot of goofy stuff. Chris Kattan. Fun fact with Chris Kattan. So Maggie and I are in New York, and we're at a bar near what's it called where they tape Saturday Night Live? Rockefeller Plaza. We're right near there.
Yeah.
And Chris was in there, and Chris had indulged, but maybe was slightly overserved. Chris, he was not a happy camper. He was kind of a miserable, and we weren't anywhere near him, but we're near close enough. We could see like people were coming up for autographs, and he wasn't real happy. This is when he was on Saturday Night Live. He wasn't real happy about it. Let's just put it that way, Chris. So anyway, I'll move on. Jillian Jacobs, the actress, is 39 years old. Rebecca Ferguson, actor, is 39 years old. The real deal, Evander Holyfield, 60 years old today. How about that?
What?
Yeah.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Robert Reed, who played Mr. Brady on the Brady Bunch, was born on this day in 1932.
Hey, before I know we just got off Evander. Can we go back? Another
Sure,
box
go
up?
ahead. Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather Sr.
It's his birthday. You're right, Barrett. Good call.
So I just match up the the boxers.
Yes, good call there with that one. Trey Parker of South Park, the comic and illustrator. He's 53 years old. Peter Tosh, who was a reggae musician who was a contemporary of Bob Marley, grew up in Jamaica. He was born on this day in 1944. Jelly Bean, Joe Bryant, Kobe's dad, is 68. Right. Yeah, he's 68 today. Yeah, Joe is. That's all I got for birthdays. You guys got anything?
That's
Little Dirk.
No, that's it.
Little Dirk.
I saw that. I saw that. I'm like, who the heck is Little Dirk? Who the heck is
Dirk, man? He's that dude.
I didn't even give knowledge.
Dirk,
I didn't give it.
Why is everybody Lil and Young?
Right. They old as hell. Talking about I'm young stunner. Man, there's nothing young about you. My age, bro. How are you, young stunner?
we need to go back to like big and
right.
Old, big and old. All right. Let's go movies. Mulholland Drive was a pretty good movie. That was in 2001. Clerks, 1994, which was a low budget that did really well. Looking for Mr. Goodbar with Diane Keaton, 1977. I didn't see a lot of other movies. Yeah, no, I didn't see a lot of other movies that.
Did you see the movie 30 Days of Night? It's a good movie.
Love 30 Days of Night.
That's a great movie. It's about these guys are stationed in Alaska, and this gang of vampires. You know, in Alaska, it gets dark for X amount of like 6 months out of the year.
Stays dark all day. Yeah, all day and night.
These vampires came in and just wreaked havoc on this compound. It's a good movie. It's a pretty good movie. Yeah,
great movie
called 30 Days of Night. Came out in 2007.
Okay.
What about Alex Cross? Did you mention Alex Cross was a good movie?
Great movie
Tyler
also.
Perry. Yeah, with Tyler Perry.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, see that. He's like a forensic expert. This dude's stalking him,
Wow.
That's a really good movie.
Tyler Perry, how does he do it, man? That guy is prolific.
You know, I read something on him where, he owns an island, like a small island out of the way, and he goes to the island. He gets no reception, no phone reception, nothing. And that's where he does a lot of his creating when he comes up with like movies and stuff like that. And he just gets away from the world for a while and does his best work there.
He really he does an unbelievable job. Like he employs a lot of people, man. Like he has his own production company in Atlanta and provides a lot of jobs, man. I give that guy props. He's done it right, and he's taking care of a lot of people.
If I owned the island, you'd never see me again. Tell you that right now. I'm gonna tell you right now, you'll never.
That's
see
when
me
you
again.
know you're big time when you own an island. You are big time,
right.
You've arrived.
Yeah,
that's
man.
for sure. All right, Phillies predictions today, guys. You got Nola, Snell, game 2. Keep in mind, Padres have to get this one. They have to. You don't want to go back to Philly down 0-2 with 3 potentially on deck in Philly. So where you at, Barrett?
I think they take another one.
Okay.
I think they take another. They go back, and all they have to do is win what? Win 2, and they can do it out of 3 chairs.
Correct. If they win today, just win 2. Yep.
Win 2. I'm good with that. I think they can do it.
Gunner?
Let's see here. They split the first 2 with the Mets and rallied to win that decisive game. Shocked the world. 100-win team. Padres did, and then they turned around. They took it to the Dodgers in 4. Won 3 straight over the Dodgers. I'm still taking the way Aaron Nola's pitching right now, and the Padres have been hitting out of their minds. 9 home runs in 8 playoff games. They're not normally known for a home run hitting team, but there's something about this mojo between Wheeler and Nola right now. You talk about Nola's ERA, basically nothing, in 2 playoff appearances. I'm leaning towards the Phillies today. I'm gonna take the Phillies coming home up 2-0.
All right, I like it. I'm not trying to be a total homer here, but I just considering the way that Nola's pitching and Schwarber and Harper are both hot, and their ability to go yard just to be able to carry a team offensively, and a very well-rested bullpen.
Yep.
I like the Phillies' chances here. I think you'll see Snell out of the game by the 5th, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Phillies do against that bullpen. But
Absolutely.
I like the Phillies' chances. I think it's going to be fun. And it's going to be a warm day, and it's during the day. Nola likes both of those. He's a Louisiana kid who likes the heat. Yeah, he likes the heat. I know, Gunner. Sorry, man. Yep.
I'm in the wrong half of the country.
I hear you. All right, we're back tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow at the same time. I want to thank Xander Krause for all of his work with the show. And, of course, over the next 3 hours, you have the National Football Show with Dan Cilio. So you don't want to go anywhere. We're back at it same time tomorrow. For Barrett, for Derek, I'm Rob. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We are Sports Take. Have a great day.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Welcome to Pond Lee Hockey. We've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. If you've been injured at work, give Pond Lee Hockey